Good evening, wrestling fans, and welcome to the Wrestle Talk Podcast. For the next 2 hours, we will bring you the latest pro wrestling news, in-depth analysis of all your favorite promotions from across the globe, and much, much more. We will also bring you exclusive interviews with the greatest professional wrestling personalities on the local, national, and international levels. If you want to follow the Wrestle Talk Podcast, check us out online at www.wrestletalkpodcast.com. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and Instagram. And now, it's time for the reigning, defending, undisputed leader in pro wrestling podcast, the Wrestle Talk Podcast.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Wrestle Talk Podcast. It is a celebration here tonight. It's episode 400. My name is Big Sexy Chris Rodell, riding with you. We're going to have a whole host of hosts coming in tonight. We got Big Hoss running the ones and twos. Hoss, how you doing?
Sorry, technical difficulty.
How's it going, Hoss? Happy 400.
Hey, yes, happy 400. You know, it just like the title, it's a celebration. We are celebrating tonight with episode 400, and we have a heck of a lineup coming tonight, and just can't wait, man.
Great. We got high spots. We got several great guests tonight. We're rolling 3 hours. We're starting a half hour early, 6:30 to 9:30 tonight. So, I mean, it's gonna be a great show. 400. I mean, that's a lot of shows. That's a lot of prep time.
Yes, it is. And shout out to Larry Wolf and Herb Simmons checking in, and thank you, Herb, for the congratulations there. We are excited about 400.
Ralph, thank you very much. The CEO,
the man, DeJuan Mills.
He's going to join us later on in the show. So, I mean, we got a whole bunch. We're going to have hosts rolling in and out of here all night long. So, let's go ahead and bring on one of the other hosts of the Wrestle Talk Podcast. You catch me and him every second Tuesday of the month. He is the St. Louis legend, the one and only Luke Roberts. Luke, come on in.
Hey, gentlemen, we're here. 400 episodes.
Happy 400, brother. Happy 400.
And you know something? I've got a little bit of history right here tonight on the Wrestle Talk Podcast. Chris, I actually went back. I told Renee a couple weeks ago I was going to do the research. You are aware, I don't know if you are or not, the first time we came on the Wrestle Talk Podcast was 358 episodes ago.
I was going to say, me and you, I believe, came on as guests, right?
That is correct. We were there, and again, there was a very young Night Owl was with us, along with Nightmare Jones, Joe Lance, and I would be remiss if we don't give some recognition to the late Richard Rose, Rick Rose also being a part of the program. All the way back in episode 42, if you can believe that.
42?
Episode
really?
42 of the Wrestle Talk Podcast.
Wow.
We're still going strong here with
You're going to have to bring that up when Renee comes on later on, because I don't know if he'll believe us or not for that one. So
I don't know, but it's been a long, long time with the Wrestle Talk Podcast. I want to say, first of all, thank you for all these great messages. We're going to have a great show here tonight. We've got some scheduled guests. We've got some guests from days gone by. We've got some guests from today. We've got wrestling guests from the local area. We've got them from the national level, you name it. Episode 400 is going to be an outstanding episode of the Wrestle Talk Podcast. And I know there's going to be a few more surprises along the way here on episode 400. I know that Hardcore Hoss, he's got a couple things he's going to be talking about later on. I know the Night Owl's going to be talking about some stuff here too tonight. Guys, I got to tell you, this is going to be one of the greatest episodes in the history of the Wrestle Talk Podcast.
I can't deny that. I think it is. It's going to be great. I mean, it's going to be an awesome show. So, I mean, But you know what? We wouldn't make it to episode 400 if it wasn't for the great Wrestle Talk podcast sponsors. So let's get those thrown up there so we can let everybody know about the Wrestle Talk podcast sponsors. We got Royal Mills Transportation with DeJuan Mills, Rathbun Engraving with those beautiful Wrestle Talk podcast mugs, Nobleman Barber Shop, KC, Missouri, ask for Pete the Barber, Kincaid Arcade at Oak Park Mall, Everything Combat, our friend Jay Hollywood, taking good care of Everything Combat, Me Fiesta KC Party Rentals, Interstate 70 Sports Media, the one and only, the maestro Jeremy Carp, and of course, the premier fantasy wrestling group in the entire country, the entire world, the FWWC.
That is so true, Chris. Lots of great sponsors and also lots of great viewers that are watching the Wrestle Talk podcast here tonight. Again, I can't believe it, gentlemen. We got to it 400 episodes. And I mean, again, we have had the opportunity to have wrestlers from pretty much all across the 50 states. We've had wrestlers from Mexico, from Canada, from China. I mean, you name it, we've had wrestlers and personalities all across the country and all across the world.
And as you say, especially all across the country, we've had the West Coast, we've had the Midwest. We are in Nebraska with the Nebraska Hall of Fame. The West Coast with up there in the Virginia, Delaware area. And don't worry, we're gonna get to all this. We're gonna have someone on from all the states eventually. I just know we're gonna delve into some of these other areas.
You know something, Chris? We're gonna have to go back and look in the archives. But I'll tell you right now, I think we're pretty close to having all 50 states. But again, that all comes back to all the great viewers of the Wrestle Talk podcast who are making sure that they're tuning in each and every week. And again, right now, it's great to see that all these comments are here from the guests. And again, let your friends and family know this is a celebration. Episode 400 of the Wrestle Talk podcast. We're here tonight, WrestleTalkPodcast.com. You can check up all the past episodes. And who knows, you might even want to go back to episode 42 where Chris and I made our debut appearance right here on the program. But you know something, Chris? It's about that time, just like it is every week, that we got to take care of a little bit of business before we get things done. And I do want to go ahead here and take just a moment before we go into the national anthem. As you all know, Chris, the world of professional wrestling did lose two outstanding officials over the past week, Dave Hebner and referee Tim White, both passing away this week. And again, two men who were pioneers in the world of being referees, again, spent many a year on the big stage. And I think at this point, it would only be fair if we show, out of proper respect, a moment of silence for those two men and their passing this past week. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for allowing us to have that opportunity. Again, two great men in the world of professional wrestling that have passed away this past week. Now, guys, I'm going to go ahead and, gentlemen, you now know what it's time for.
That's right.
Chris, you ready? Chris is ready. Hardcore Hoss, are you ready to go ahead and take care of a little bit of weekly business here?
I am ready to go because it is that time, ladies and gentlemen. It is time that we go ahead and we honor the best damn country around, and that is America. So if you will remove your hats, place your hands over your hearts for the playing of our national anthem. It cut off a little early for some reason, but
we didn't get the good part or the bad part or whatever, but it still brings a tear to you. It's 400. We do it big, so
that is true, Chris. That is true. You know something, guys? I'm not going to give any major description here. The world of professional wrestling has been turned upside down pretty much all week long. We've got Slammiversary. We've got Forbidden Door coming up. We've got a lot of news going on in the world of the WWE. We got a lot of local news coming up as well. So I think it's time in Hardcore Hoss, you go ahead and be so kind to hit that music from DJ Money as we go into the high spot segment on tonight's episode 400.
Mic check, mic check. Yeah! All right. Wrestle Talk Podcast. DJ Money. Yeah. Let's go. Welcome to High Spots, where we pop news like lamb chops. We talk shop, coming through the screens of a laptop and non-stop like I wanna speak to the blacktop. We hit hard like chair shots and backdrops. On the clock flash, feel like the barely flop that ass on. We up to speed while they stay slow. Wrestle Talk Podcast, now they know we about to start the show.
So
all right.
I want to jump in here and I want to quote Cody Rhodes a couple of times. He's done this before. He's like, "So what do you want to talk about?" I mean, because honestly, I mean, can we be floored by the biggest news in the last week? Probably. This could be one of the biggest stories like in a very long time in the wrestling business with the WWE. With the whole, do we have a question around that? I'm not quite sure. I don't want to jump the gun.
Oh yeah, we definitely have a question around that. And you know, the question really is, with Vince stepping back, do you expect Stephanie McMahon to make any big changes in the WWE now that she's taking over as the interim CEO and president?
So I guess to lay some backstory, I guess in case people have been living under a rock, late last week, Vince McMahon stepped away as being the CEO and chairman of the board of the WWE. He's still going to retain creative. We can talk about that later. And Stephanie McMahon has been named the interim CEO and chairwoman of the board. And also today, I saw that John Laurinaitis was also placed on leave, and I cannot remember. I will find who took over his duties.
I believe what they were. I've read some different avenues saying Bruce Pritchard took
Bruce Pritchard
over on an interim basis.
Yes. So I mean, if Vince is still running creative, I mean, what's really going to change? I mean, I don't know. Maybe Luke.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now, Chris. Here's my view. Right now, as it stands, in a lot of the business world, you often hear of 90-day no-competes or non-disclosures with companies. But one thing I read that kind of strikes me here was the idea that the WWE had put into place something regarding these NDAs and things like that back in January. I believe it was of 21. And right now, the WWE is in a state of, I remember seeing a meme about it earlier today, being in a state of flux. Because you've got Vince McMahon stepping aside. You've got John Laurinaitis stepping aside. I've read on several different outlets that Kevin Dunn is being investigated by the Securities and Exchange Commission for getting insider information. And I've read places.
I believe that story was retracted. So I don't know that for sure on that one, but I mean, really
still, if you get something like that brought forward to you and somebody making a statement like that, retraction or not, it's not something that the WWE needs right now. And right now, as it stands, I got to tell you, I mean, I remember seeing something else. Stephanie McMahon has a lot of good ideas, and to be honest with you, she's got the college background, she's got the knowledge behind her. But it's the idea of where are we going to see, even though Vince stepped back and kind of kept that creative position, are we going to see him let her take the reins? Or is this going to be one of those where she's going to basically be a figurehead?
I think it's going to depend on what happens with the investigation and if the board can get out of because Vince's executive contract allows the board to fire him doesn't allow the board to fire him, and as long as they meet certain clauses. So if Stephanie takes over, she can put her own people in creative. I don't know if you see Hunter back in the WWE backstage. I'm not sure. I really don't know. The WWE is in a state of flux right now, and it's kind of showing. And I really don't like the fact that Vince came out on SmackDown and on Raw and acting like, oh, nothing's wrong. I'm going to power walk to the ring.
Well, guys, I got to tell you right now, I think, my honest opinion, I think we see a much different WWE, if Stephanie McMahon's in charge. I see a lot of the people that Triple H had positioned in place. I mean, if you look at Triple H, and again, I know I'm veering a little bit here, basically pushed NXT to the next level. He gave NXT a lot more room to move. And if Vince or John Laurinaitis or depending on what's there, I'm going to try to do some more research as the show goes live, with Kevin Dunn's name being mentioned and then retracted, I think that right now it's too early to tell what's there. But to me personally, I think she's going to have to make big changes because she's seeing what groups like AEW is doing. She's seeing what New Japan's doing. I mean, granted, for what is it now? For 50 plus years, the WWE has, I'm trying to think of the old phrase they used, the worldwide leader in sports entertainment.
Right.
Now, it's one of those where, with all the stuff going on right now, they got to come up with something. And a lot of people were saying, as the meme said earlier, that's another meme I saw today, with Brock Lesnar.
Yes.
What are we going to see here? Because
Brock Lesnar, the human epitome of, in case of emergency, breakdown. And before we move on to that, Friday night SmackDown drew 2.29 million viewers. Rampage 331,000. So,
well, and Chris, you mentioned Vince and coming out to the ring and everything. That brings up an interesting question, which actually is not a High Spots question, but I heard somebody else ask, and really made me think. And that is Vince? Did he do that? Did he come out on SmackDown and basically say nothing? And the same thing on Raw. Did he do that because he knew if he put out there Vince is going to be on TV, it was going to boost the ratings? Probably. Intentionally not to say anything? Or did he have the full intent to actually come out and make a statement, but then he was told by his lawyers or whoever, you might want to hush, don't say anything? And so he had already committed to it, so he just went out and did that just because he'd committed.
Yeah, I don't know. But going back, but I guess we can put a pin in that. We can ask Renee his opinion of it when he gets here. Brock Lesnar is like I said, the human epitome of, in case of emergency, break glass. And some might say it's because of the Vince scandal. I think it's more because of the injuries, because I think Cody Rhodes was supposed to have the SummerSlam spot, or he was supposed to have the Money in the Bank spot, and then maybe down the line. And then I think they were going to try to have Randy Orton and Roman Reigns at SummerSlam. Randy's dealing with an injury, so you need something to sell the pay-per-view.
Well, Chris, I'm going to throw this one out here too, and I'm going to kind of piggyback on this question. Is Brock Lesnar a desperation move? What about John Cena? They're having John Cena next week, 20 years of C-Nation.
I think that's just kind of a celebration of the month, and then it's going to start the SummerSlam angle with him in theory. That's what it's going to be.
Yeah, because they were talking about Cena before all this came out, so I think Cena is just coincidence. But
let's throw another one out here, gentlemen, and we keep hearing the name get bounced around once in a great while. What about The Rock? Where does he fit into all this? there's a lot of things here. There's a lot of intangibles we don't know. And to be honest with you, it's like every week, it's like the WWE is having to scramble to take care of things. And it's to me, being a longtime wrestler, it's kind of scary that the WWE is having to scramble that much to cover what we got going.
I remember back in the day where they would have the WrestleMania main event planned out, and then they would work backwards 12 months.
Mm-hmm.
They probably right now don't know what's going to go on at WrestleMania. We don't know. I don't think we're going to see The Rock at this I don't think so. You need him in here at least at Royal Rumble to do that. And I don't even know if Roman's going to have the title. I mean, I don't know what's going on. And especially with Money in the Bank this year, I'm at a loss. I'm like, right now, no one can beat Roman Reigns. They're gonna do this last man standing match. Is that going to be the perfect catalyst to, hey, Roman can still look strong after he just battled Brock Lesnar for 20 minutes in a last man standing match? Okay, whoever wins Money in the Bank comes out and cashes in on him. So,
well, you know something, guys? I mean, I'm gonna be honest with you, and I'm gonna kind of combine a whole bunch of things here. To me, if I had to make a decision between Money in the Bank and Forbidden Door, I'm going with Forbidden Door. I think there's too much turmoil right now for the WWE to be making straight ahead headway. I think the idea of seeing AEW taking on the best that New Japan has to offer is going to be, without question, the event that people are going to watch. And I mean, again, I know a lot of people have got the WWE Network, and they're going to be, or sorry, I should say Peacock. I shouldn't say WWE Network unless you're international. That's where you have the WWE Network still being in existence. But to me, I think right now, this scrambling is going to hurt the WWE in the short term, and I honestly think it's going to hurt them in the long term as well. Hoss, what are your thoughts?
See, I want to say something about Forbidden Door. I'm not you know me, I'm not really a New Japan fan, and I'm not saying I'm not a fan. It's just I don't follow them, so I'm having to ask him, like, who's this person? Who's this person? Who's this person? What does this have to do with anything? But I do think the matches will probably be pretty darn good. So go ahead, Hoss. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Yeah, they really have been left scrambling, and I think that it will hurt them in the long run, the scrambling, because how can you get interested in the match when they kind of just have to throw it together and not really build the story? I think that's going to hurt them. It really will.
And they're getting hit with injuries at probably one of the worst times they can. I mean, we just found out Monday that Rhea Ripley can't be in the Money in the Bank match. So they're going to have to find they had to find a replacement for Rhea Ripley to take on Bianca Belair. They picked Carmella because they already had certain people in the Money in the Bank. So, I mean, it's kind of like they're running with they're kind of like running by the seat of their pants right now.
Well, guys, I got to tell you right now, I think the only thing right now that really kind of stands to me with this whole situation is it gives Rhea Ripley an opportunity to sit back and wait. Now, do they need her in that women's match? It would be a great addition to the match, don't get me wrong. But if you have Rhea Ripley, member of the Judgment Day, wait to figure out who winds up grabbing that Money in the Bank briefcase. She's got enough physicality and knowledge to challenge that individual for the Money in the Bank briefcase. And I'm going to tell you right now, if Rhea Ripley can wait and can call her shot, I think we see at some point down the road Rhea Ripley having the Money in the Bank briefcase and not from winning the match.
Well, I mean, I guess you could say that. I mean, it's definitely an interesting time in the world of professional wrestling. So I see he is backstage, ladies and gentlemen. Let's bring on one of the OGs of the WTP, ladies and gentlemen. It is I believe, the Night Owl, Renee Martinez, my Himi Hermano brother. How are you?
Night Owl, we can hardly hear you.
Your microphone is having issues, sir. For once, it's not Luke Roberts' microphone going out today. Night Owl, you can get it taken care of.
I'll be right back.
We're going to do this formal introduction here again in just a minute. The Night Owl's trying to get his microphone and his technology taken care of. I told you guys when we had our meeting this week, but that was probably what was going to happen because it's been my microphone for the last couple weeks.
This is what happens when we do things live. No, just kidding.
Well, you know, guys, I got to tell you right now, everything's going great. And again, keep sending those comments to us, everybody. We were really enjoying it. Have a lot of people checking in. We got a lot of great guests. They're going to be coming on the program here tonight as well. I don't know if you're waiting. What's up, Owen? How you doing tonight here? I got a lot of people here. I know we had Herb Simmons earlier on, Larry Wolf joining us, Ryan, Chad, Susie, and of course DeJuan here as well. A lot of viewers here tonight. Make sure to tell your friends and family. This is a big episode for us. We really appreciate all the support that you give us each and every week. Hoss, does it look like the Night Owl's back to where we need to be?
No, not yet.
Okay.
All right.
So, what else? Let's see. We talked about the Vince stuff. So,
let's see here.
That's not happening. What? Did I see it?
We had a screen for just a minute. You know, guys, I have one more thing that kind of popped into my head here a minute, and that's the idea of what do you see going forward for Riddle? He had a great matchup with Roman Reigns this Friday on SmackDown. What do you see for Riddle going forward?
My personal opinion is I look for Riddle to get into the Money in the Bank match, win the briefcase, and actually go for it again. Because they said that as long as Roman held that title, he couldn't go for it again. They said that prior to the match that if he lost. So it looks like he wouldn't be allowed to go for it again. So what better way to do that than say, okay, put him in Money in the Bank and let him win the briefcase?
Valid point there. Valid point. Chris, what are your thoughts?
I don't know where they're going to go with Riddle. I mean, I will admit the whole RK Bro thing kind of grew on me. It was kind of annoying at first. I just kept waiting for Randy to turn on, but then Randy started to enjoy it. So it's kind of like, okay, I can dig this. And they put on some great matches. I mean, Roman and Riddle on SmackDown was a really darn good match. It was really good. It was probably one of the best TV matches we've had in a long time.
Mm-hmm. And I couldn't agree with you more, Chris. I mean, Riddle has really shown me something. I mean, yeah, he's kind of like whatever, and he seems like he's out in his own little world,
bro.
But you know what, though, the man is an accomplished in-ring competitor, and I really would like to see him be in some form of a championship mix, whether it's the Intercontinental title, U.S. title. Think about it this way: Theory versus Riddle. I would pay to watch that match. I think that would be a phenomenal in-ring contest.
So Luke, I want to delve into your New Japan knowledge here.
Okay.
And it looks like they're trying to set up Hangman Adam Page against Okada for the IWGP title, but Adam Cole wants into it. So would you rather it be A, Page versus Okada, B, Cole versus Okada, C, Page versus Cole versus Okada?
You know, I look at it this way. To me, if you're going to put Hangman Page with anybody on the roster, there's only two people that put that interest out there to me. One is Will Ospreay, and two is Kazuchika Okada. And I'll tell you right now, to me, I got to tell you right now, I don't want to see all three men compete. To me, I look at it from a perspective, if you're going to put somebody with Okada, I say you probably go Hangman Page.
Because doesn't Page and Okada have the backstory back from Japan? I don't know. I'm guessing it, but
I got to look at it this way. To me, I would be of a mindset of where Adam Cole and Okada, there's something about it doesn't. Okada really has been one of the wrestlers that he kind of reminds me of Tanahashi in the idea of where he and again, Chris, there's several people who are going to be upset with this next statement that I'm going to make. To me, I think that Hiroshi Tanahashi, and I believe he's wrestling Moxley at the Forbidden Door. If you look at it this way, I think Okada is the next name that's going to be remembered as one of the greatest champions in the history of New Japan.
Well, gentlemen, if you want to talk about New Japan, you really have to have one person in on this conversation because he is a big fan of New Japan wrestling. And he is the man who has helped bring the Wrestle Talk podcast up to where it is now. Let's give this a try one more time. We got to bring him back in. The one, the only, the Night Owl.
¿Qué pasa? ¿Qué pasa? ¿Qué pasa? Fellow co-hosts and members of the Wrestle Talk family, man, what an absolute pleasure to be here with all of you guys today. Okay, I'm solo mode. Cool, thank you. Listen, guys, I've been listening to the show. I could not wait to get on. Man, what an absolute crazy lineup. I know you guys have already kind of touched on it a little bit. Yes, I want to get into some New Japan. But, man, episode 400, I know we're going to be talking a little bit more about kind of what it means to each one of us as we go on throughout the night. But I guess I can't really help myself because episode 400 is a landmark for anything that you do, let alone a podcast. There's a lot of come and go podcasts, and particularly in the pro wrestling world, but the Wrestle Talk podcast has endured. And our claim to fame is not that we're like the best produced podcast in the whole wide world. I think our claim to fame, gentlemen, is that we are here every single week for the members of the Wrestle Talk family through the pandemic, through personal tragedy, through shared, community tragedy with everything that happened with George Floyd a couple of years ago. Like the Wrestle Talk podcast was here throughout all that. And I am proud to call all of you guys my brothers and all the members of the Wrestle Talk podcast family, my friends. So thank you. It's an honor still, just like when I joined the show so many years ago, to still be able to do this. Outside of all the crazy stuff I've got going on, from being a district manager to running a fantasy group to being a grandfather and a dad and a husband and all this, the thing that still just like helps me push all that to the side for a couple of hours once a week is indeed professional wrestling, but particularly the Wrestle Talk podcast. So I'm excited to be here.
I am digging the shirt, Hogan's Beach Shop.
Yeah, bro, I bought it from Hogan himself, man, down at
who would really love that? A former guest of the Wrestle Talk podcast,
Slammer, baby, of course.
That's true. That is true.
Freaking Slammer, baby.
So
he said when I posted that video, which you guys can go watch on YouTube, by the way, our tour of the Hulk Hogan Beach Shop. I was helped by my son Fury. He commented, he was like, "It's my home away from home." So apparently he's been to the beach shop a few times.
Oh, he definitely has been. I think he goes probably once a year, maybe twice. So Renee, I'm going to send this over to Luke for a second. Luke has a very interesting stat he did some research from the very first time that me and Luke appeared on the Wrestle Talk podcast. We were guests and we were promoting. I believe, were we promoting Dynamo, the Stroke Show, or were we promoting
I believe it was the Stroke Ain't No Joke event. Now, I'm going to ask you this. We're at 400 episodes.
All right.
I did the research.
All right.
Can you tell me how many episodes it's been since Chris and I made our initial appearance here on the program?
I would guess. Can I guess around what episode it was?
Yes. Let's give him 10 either way.
Okay, I would guess that you guys made your first appearance on roughly episode 20 of the Wrestle Talk podcast.
Good guess. Close. Not right.
Okay.
Episode 42.
Okay, my second guess was going to be 40. So, okay. Well, congratulations. And you know what? You guys were here at the onset of the show. God bless and God rest our brother Rick Rose, who helped facilitate that along with our originator, the legend Nightmare Jones himself. I can't help myself. Like, I was going to wait till later, but I really want to share this with you guys. I think we've got a good audience right now, and I know for even you guys, this is going to be a surprise. I've been holding this very, very close to the vest, and so allow me to roll out right here, right now, if it's okay with you, gentlemen, the brand new Wrestle Talk podcast merchandise and logo. Now, we will continue to use all our old merchandise and continue to use our old logo because we love the old logo. It's a part of who we are. We didn't have to give it up like WWF. We can still use our stuff, damn it, because it belongs to us. But just like this show has evolved from, us just doing Facebook Live to going to Blog Talk, then eventually here on the StreamYard, allow me again, guys, to introduce to you the brand new Wrestle Talk podcast logo.
Wow, that is awesome, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah,
well done.
Yeah. Shout out, major super duper mondo shout out to Little Popeye Designs, based here locally in the Midwest. A good and long-time friend of mine, half Puerto Rican, half Mexican, and 100% crazy. This dude is wild. He's in a motorcycle gang. He's just an incredible human being. And I said, Felix, I really, really want to take Wrestle Talk podcast to the next level from an aesthetic standpoint, because I think our content is great, our production is getting there, and obviously, like, the guests are incredible, just like a man that's going to be joining us here in just a couple of moments, which is a surprise to all of you as well. But with that, not only am I going to show you guys the logo, I am also going to introduce our brand new merch. This is the second edition of the Wrestle Talk podcast merch line. You guys absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, remember the Wrestle Talk podcast mug with the custom logo, and we actually engrave your personal name on it. Well, we're going to be doing the exact same thing, except now you don't have to wait to get home to make sure your root beer float or your ice cream or your cerveza tastes 17.5% better. No, because you can actually go ahead and take it to work with you, ladies and gentlemen, as I introduce the brand new Wrestle Talk podcast. Brand new logo, still the custom name, Tumblr, baby. Woo-hoo! What do you guys think about that?
Nice.
That is awesome. Again, if you notice too, ladies and gentlemen, that nice silver and black look when it comes to it looks very sleek. It's going to keep your beverages cold, and you can take them anywhere you want to go.
Them's Raider colors.
Silver and black, is it?
Thank you for pointing that out.
Well, this is now officially Wrestle Talk colors, so we're going to change the narrative. CYN, man, we're going to control our narrative here. So hopefully you guys dig all that. I'm done promoting stuff. I'm sorry. I've been so absolutely excited to share this with everybody. I just, this show means the world to me, man. Just like the FWWC and my family and my job and my friends, I always want to make sure we put our best foot forward. And I think these are some huge steps in the right direction. Now we've got multiple banners out there. We've got new merchandise. So for the record, we're not going to up the price on anybody. It's still $20 for the mug. If you want to have your name engraved on it, it's an extra $5, and then whatever the shipping costs to where you live. So you could easily have this in your hand, something that's going to literally last you a lifetime for about $35 with shipping. Again, we put your name on it. You get the tumbler with the logo, $20, $5 more for the name, and then whatever the shipping cost is. So we didn't want to, inflate the pricing and use the economy as an excuse. We wanted to make sure that we kept things affordable, and we want to make sure that it was sleek and classy. And I think, gentlemen, and you can tell me by a show of thumbs up if you think we've accomplished that. I think we've accomplished that. Yeah. Okay. How about three thumbs up? Let me see if I can get my foot up here. There you go. 1, 2, 3.
Don't throw out your hip.
All right. Ouch. Yeah, for real. One more surprise. Joining us just for a couple of moments, a guy who's been a longtime member of the Wrestle Talk family, super ultra mega pro wrestling fan, and a man that you can simply call the captain. Ladies and gentlemen, known by many as Kenny, even more as Kenny Casanova. Let's go ahead and bring on the man himself, Kenny! What up, baby? Woo!
Awesome. Welcome back, Kenny.
Kenny.
What's up? When was I last on? Episode 293 of April 2020, I think, with Madman Pondo. You remember that episode?
Crazy episode. I think Madman Pondo shit over Sarah Logan so bad that night. It was it was bad, bro. It was bad. Well, welcome to the show, Captain. I wanted to surprise the guys with a special guest. I know Luke loves you. I know the guys saw you when you were on the show last time. So just real quick, bro, I'm looking at your name, WOHW.com, baby. Give it to us.
So, for those of you that don't know me, Kenny Casanova, former manager from a long time ago, where I did Kenny Casanova. I also did Kimchi for Kamala, and eventually that turned into me writing a bunch of books for the boys. So I did Kamala, Beefcake, Stanley Davis book, Sabu, Vader, Just Incredible, Tito Santana, and I've got ODB coming out in a couple months. So I've kind of transitioned into ghostwriting, if you will.
Wow. Author, manager, and the captain of his very own ship, ladies and gentlemen.
I just put a gimmick on. I had
just put the gimmick on. Now, are you also a puppeteer, Kenny? Because I see a puppet back there.
There is a puppet hanging out. Not really. I'm also a teacher. So what the puppet was from was during pandemic when we had to teach remote. We had the kids in front of us on a computer. Sometimes I wouldn't break kayfabe at all. I would put the puppet up and teach a whole class as a puppet. And the kids would be like, what the hell? But they wouldn't take off. They'd watch. So
nobody was falling asleep. Yo, when my kid was doing, it was crazy just to keep him awake during these sessions online, man. Kudos to our kids and kudos to all the educators who survived that freaking craziness of the pandemic. That was nuts, bro.
Oh.
Yeah.
I got to tell you right now, Kenny, I'm going to give you 2 thumbs up again, because that's one of those things that we can see from the educators throughout the pandemic is the idea of being able to adapt, just like professional wrestlers. Wrestlers and teachers have to adapt pretty much on the fly. And to be able to keep your students entertained for a whole class hour or a whole class day with a puppet, I got to give you 2 thumbs up on that. That's awesome. And like I said, I am very impressed.
They were seniors too, so
You got them worked over with the puppet. That's awesome. Well, Kenny, brother, just a couple of things here. The world of pro wrestling has changed a lot since episode, was it 298, where you joined us alongside Madman Pondo? Where are you on it now, man? What are you watching? What are you keeping up with? How have you found a way to kind of, and for us, it's hard to completely ever just step away from the business. We always have to stay kind of near it in some way, shape, form, or fashion. What are you doing these days to keep yourself busy and to keep yourself kind of around the sport?
Yeah, so as far as the product, I follow AEW more than I follow WWE, which is weird because growing up, WWE was my brand. I'm born and raised in the Northeast, so I was mostly, a New York kind of guy, although I really like World Class when I could see it and all as a young kid. But I guess, with less hours of programming to follow, it was easier to jump on AEW's bandwagon, and I kind of like it. I like the new stuff over there right now, so. That's what
anybody in particular of these young talents that's catching your attention? I mean, obviously you've been paying attention to the sport for a long time. Anybody out of like the 4 pillars, the Brits, the MJF, anybody who really is kind of pulling you in, so to speak?
So for guys who look like a wrestler, I like Wardlow.
Wow,
looks like a wrestler.
He just finished throwing about 15 of my friends all the way all right in St. Louis.
I'm sitting here watching that. I'm sitting here watching the match. I'm like, oh, Mike's dead. Kenny's dead.
Poor Craig.
Camaro just died.
Poor Moses.
Poor Kenny. He took the last of it because he jumped off the top rope. I'm like, I'm thinking, Kenny, what are you thinking?
You killed Kenny, you bastards! Shout out to Kenny, man, repping KC big time. And the final question for me, Kenny, because we do, obviously we got a long show ahead of us, but we wanted to make sure we gave you your opportunity to come on and share this moment with us, bro. Episode 400. So I guess my final question is there anything in your life that you are as proud of, professionally, maybe not as much personally, unless you want to share, as how we feel right now, reaching that milestone of episode 400, something that not many pro wrestling podcasts can lay claim to? What is that for you, man?
Okay, so professionally, when I wrote Brutus Beefcake's book with him, Beefcake put out there that he was writing a tell-all, and that Hogan better get ready for it, brother. And they were kind of on the outs. And when it happened, lack of a better word, Hogan got afraid and had a lawyer call me, and I had to read sections of the book just before it came off the presses to a lawyer. And we had taken the high road enough that the lawyer was happy with that. And then it kind of mended Beefcake and Hogan's, fences enough that Hogan called up Vince and said, hey, man, I think you should throw Beefcake a bone and put him in the Hall of Fame. And he did. So I kind of.
By the way, I see how you did that.
Some of that.
I see how you did that. Throw Beefcake a bone. I like how you did that, Kenny.
So.
The educator side of you coming out right there, my guy. I like that. That was very nice.
So all I could say, good work ethic and, taking the high road when you can. We didn't bury Hogan in it. We could have, but we didn't. And they were happy with it. And it actually made things better with them. And it brought Beefcake to a better place later on. He's getting action figure deals again from WWE and stuff like that. So stuff's good. So.
Good indeed. Well, Big Sexy, Skywalker, Hardcore Hoss, anything you guys got for our buddy Kenny Casanova before we let him get out of here? Oh, by the way, badass. Oh, my gosh.
Look at that. Is that a Royal Rumble pinball game?
Oh, you want to see that?
Yes. We call that a humble floss right there where I come from. I mean, it's like, oh, yeah, casually. My Royal Rumble pinball machine.
Wow.
Nice.
And he's got it looks like a Suburban Commando poster right next to
Wow. Hey, I'm coming over after the show, Kenny. We're going to hang out, bro.
You really caught Renee's attention. He's like, Big Sexy, Luke, Hoss, you got anything to say? Wait, what's that?
What's that?
Well, I'll blow your mind real quick. Give me 30 seconds.
All right, sure. Go for it. Oh, by the way, guys, in just a matter of moments, we do have Big Daddy P that's going to be joining us. You guys are really going to dig that.
Wow.
There's Vader singlet. Here's Beefcake tights. People probably recognize these ones. They made
Zuba.
All right, wait a minute. Now I'm going to blow your mind here. This is a super mark out room right here.
Oh, mark out room.
Oh,
Let me back up real quick.
I think,
bro, that looks like Slammer's house. Oh, that's crazy, bro. My man Rusty Rex too. That's how his room is.
Renee and Luke are both gonna need a moment here.
Yeah. I forgot my rag. I left my rag in there.
These are all different guys I worked with. I got them to sign stuff for me over the years. I got a
Kenny. Can you put me in your will, Kenny?
I got all kinds of neat stuff kicking around in here.
That's the coolest.
That does kind of look like that.
Maestro's gonna get a kick out of that, man. He loves the collectibles, man.
That is kind of like Slammer's garage.
Kenny, man, thank you so much for sharing that, dude. That's incredible, man. Wow. Well, I can't wait to have you back on for a full-born interview, man. It's been way too long. Thanks for sharing a couple of moments with us for episode 400, brother. You keep bringing the pain, all right, brother? Keep kicking ass.
Happy 400.
You got it, boss.
Thanks,
we'll catch
Kenny.
you later.
Appreciate it.
Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, Kenny Casanova. Did you like my surprises, guys? I tried to bring the big guns today. Yeah, can I get a round of applause?
And you got to see the Royal Rumble pinball game. So
sure, that is true. A lot of great stuff that was there. But you know something? We got a lot of more great things still to come. Matter of fact, Night Owl, I want you to go ahead because the next guest we have, and I was talking with Chris, who was a man who really, for a long period of time, it has been one of the key parts of what makes the Wrestle Talk podcast unique, what makes the Wrestle Talk podcast stand out from all the other wrestling podcasts. And I know that you, my good friend, have had a lot of contact with this man over the years. So I'm going to go ahead and throw it to you because it's another familiar face making a great appearance here on episode 400. So Night Owl, go ahead and take it away, bud.
Well, thank you very much, guys, and I appreciate the solo layout for this. I got to make sure I give this man a proper introduction, just like we did our buddy Kenny Casanova. What a great surprise that was to see all that awesome stuff and to hear from Kenny after about 100 episodes. Pretty crazy. But ladies and gentlemen, this man is not only a former promoter, a guy that's been knee-deep in helping certain professional wrestling companies come to prominence, companies that you may have heard of if you're down in the Southeast area, Tennessee, Atlanta, Alabama, that whole area. Not only has he done that, he's also helped us curate and develop the show from many, many years ago, including what you guys know today as the WrestleTalkPodcast.com. The website is hosted by his company, Painter's Dream Production. And most importantly, he's been like a big brother and a mentor to me. I've been beside him through some of his difficulties in his life. He's been beside me throughout a lot of difficulties in my life. And I know he's done that for a lot of other people. He's always giving, he's always sharing, and he always does it in the name of our Savior, the Lord Jesus Christ. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor and pleasure to welcome back into the show after a long, almost too long absence, the one, the only, ladies and gentlemen, Perry Hartman, a.k.a. Big Daddy P.
What is up, guys? Wow, has it been a long time, man.
Bro, where did like 100 pounds of you go? What the hell?
Look, I'm just busy doing nothing. That's it, okay? Listen.
Luke Roberts needs that t-shirt.
a long time ago, we had a discussion on this show about God's plan. And I think one of the things that people always forget is that the only reason why we are where we are right now is because he has us here. And that's just a fact. We could be anywhere right now, but he's chosen for us to be here at this moment. So first of all, congratulations on show 400. As you can see, I'm on my back, but God is faithful. And I've got surgery coming up. There has been so many things, man. Life since the last time I was on this show, it's just amazing to see not only how faithful God is, but even through the condition of our world right now, if people would just get the point that we have got to love one another, boy, this world would be a much better place.
Amen to that. I'll leave my brothers an opportunity to jump in here because, you know, you and I can go back and forth for hours and lose track of the time like we've done many, many times. But, guys, I know Skywalker, when you came on and really started being a big part of the show, I think a lot of it had to do with what kind of Perry had done to propel us moving forward, man. We want to talk to the importance of that Snippets of Truth segment that we used to do about 100 episodes ago, man, and how it kind of resonated with you.
I remember that segment.
I miss it, and hopefully we can get back to it sometime.
I remember that segment because we were still coming on kind of as the occasional co-hosts and then as guests too. So I remember that segment.
And Chris, I gotta agree with you. The Snippets of Truth was really kind of hit home to me. As Renee said, it's been far too long since we had the Snippets of Truth here on the Wrestle Talk podcast. And I got to tell you, a lot of the things that Perry has been able to share throughout his many episodes of being on the Wrestle Talk podcast, when I've been down, I've gone back to some of those things. And I have to say again, thank you, Perry, for all that you've contributed. And again, I got to tell you right now, we want you back. We want to have the Snippets of Truth. That's one of the things
5 minutes
Wrestle Talk podcast for so long. And we definitely need to get some opportunities to get some Snippets of Truth right here to the viewers every week.
Well, let's first of all make sure that we include a snippet of truth tonight. Okay. And from here on out, I will commit to you that I will be more than happy to take the time. Because again, time is not even mine, folks. If you want truth, everything that you have, you're just borrowing. We're just here for a little bit, man. There are people right now who are planning on going to bed and waking up tomorrow not knowing that their time will be finished. So if you wake up tomorrow morning, it is a gift. So let me just give you one piece of important truth, that no matter what goes on in this world, no matter how crazy it gets, it is him that wrote the words, "Do not fear, for I am with you." It's his promise. Now, for a lot of people right now who are without hope, and I know it's tough, man, whether if it's food, whether if it's money, whether if it's bills, whatever it is, I promise you, if you would put your faith and trust in your Creator, he will never let you down. I promise. That includes whatever. Now, listen, there are a lot of people who might think, okay, well, this guy's just talking about religion. I hate religion. I'm talking about a relationship with the one who brought you here. If he saw it fit to carry you this far, don't you think he's going to carry you again? He'll always.
Yes, sir.
So whatever's going on, just know that he is faithful.
Well, I'm going to interrupt here real quick, and I want to give John and Chris an opportunity to pop in here as well with any comments they may have. But I have to get your thoughts on this because you always put a positive spin on things, but I know you can also go deep in when you hear about serious situations. You always have a unique perspective. Perry, what the hell's going on with Vince McMahon, John Laurinaitis, and the WWE right now? What advice would you give to them, and what insight? I know you don't have any inside information, but in dealing with this type of situation after being at the top of your industry for 30 years, what advice would you, if Vince McMahon called you and said, "Hey, Big Daddy P, man, help me out here. What the hell do I do? How do I move this shit back in the right direction?" From a wrestling and a personal perspective, what advice would you give him?
I love how you use the word perspective. I want you for one moment, put yourself in the shoes of Mr. McMahon back when he was about to take over this company. And a lot of people told him not to do it for a lot of reasons. Aren't you glad he did? So the advice that I would give Mr. McMahon and anybody who's associated with WWE, this is not the first time they've had problems, and nor is it going to be the last. And I could quote him from last night, or from Monday night, but remember, it's all about being together. And if for whatever reason the McMahon family sells or whatever it might be, are you trying to tell me that we're not going to watch it? Of course we are. So the advice that I would give him is chill out. God is in control and he is faithful.
Do you think he survived? Do you think he survives this, or does he?
He's already, look at all the things he's already, even if he doesn't survive it, he's still going to be a part of it in some way, shape, or form. He still has 80%, right?
Right.
Yeah. I think so.
So that kind of holds water. But again, it's kind of like the Kid Rock interview. He's uncancelable. You can't cancel Vince McMahon. Everybody has known for a long time that he has a very unique way of doing business. I don't know what goes on behind the scenes, but I can definitely tell you one thing for sure, and that is this. As long as there is wrestling, I don't care who owns it, I'll enjoy it.
Exactly.
All right, John. Well, I think it would be rude if we didn't give you an opportunity to jump on in here, man, with our guy Big Daddy P being a man, a Christ follower, just like myself, and of course, Big Daddy P.
I'm just me, man. Don't blow. Look, I am fallen, man. I make mistakes all the time. Okay, so just I appreciate it, but just know that I am the way that he's made me, and if you don't like it, sorry.
Hardcore Haas, what do you got for Big Daddy P?
Hey, we all have been broken at points, and we need to look to him to be lifted up. And I just I'm happy to see you back. I hope to look to more episodes with you. And I just missed the Snippets of Truth episodes. I used to really look forward to that section of the podcast. So
awesome.
I'll
do it. I'll see you next week.
Yeah. Bringing it back. My program director, you hear that, Skywalker? I need you to figure out a way to squeeze in those 5 minutes every single show. And here's how it works, guys. What we're going to do is we're going to basically put out a message midweek, like on Friday, or I should say towards the end of the week, Friday, Saturday, any prayer requests. And it doesn't matter what faith you believe in. If you believe in God, bro, we're with you. We rock with you. Just tell us what it is that you're dealing with, or maybe you're praying on the behalf, or you want to pray on the behalf of somebody else, or a particular situation, or some of this crazy stuff with the shootings, all this crazy stuff that's going on, whatever, wrestling related or not, you send it to us, direct message. You can hit us on the email, wrestletalkpodcast@gmail.com. You can send it directly to Perry himself. You can send it to any one of us. And then we will actually just say your first name and the state that you're from. We're not going to give your full name. And then we will do a short prayer for you and anybody else. Even if you're a wrestler who's on the road and you're just, nervous about being on the road, and you want a safe travel so you can make it back home to your family, like that's what we're going to do that for, right, Perry?
And even if you don't believe in God, try him today. If you've tried everything else,
it's free,
and it's not working, do something differently. Trust him. I can absolutely guarantee you that he is faithful. Is it going to be easy? No. I mean, listen, the fact is, all of us that are participating, he said, I will build my church. We're a part of his church. He's doing the work. All we have to do is obey and love one another. That's why when they were arguing about who's the greatest and who's the best, he said, here's the two greatest commandments I give you. Love God and love his people. And if we can do those two things, if that's the only thing we do, then it's the right way to go. So I look forward to it. Matter of fact, if anybody doesn't have any prayer requests, I've got one now that was sent to me earlier, and it's about the rest.
Wait. Before,
Yeah.
I want to let you do that on the close. I apologize for
That's
interrupting. I hate to interrupt my big bro. So here's kind of the final question, wrestling wise, and then we'll close with snippets. You've been watching pro wrestling since when? Give me a year if you can.
Oh God, 1983.
83, you can remember consciously watching professional wrestling.
Absolutely.
A lot of people are like, I've been watching since I was in the womb. I'm like, you don't remember that though.
Oh, no, I definitely, let me tell you, I remember, matter of fact, one of my greatest memories, which isn't the earliest, but I remember standing right next to Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania when he fought King Kong Bundy. He came upstairs from the escalator. I was blocking the escalator, and I hear this voice say, "Excuse me, kid." And I turn around, and it was him. I was 13 years old. I will never, ever, it was at the LA Sports Arena. I'll never forget it as long as I live.
Wow. What an incredible story. The reason I asked is because there's always this evolution. The podcast has evolved. You have clearly evolved. We've all evolved as men. Our listeners have evolved as individuals, trying to strive to be better, hopefully every single day, even though sometimes it's more steps back than forward, as long as we're always moving. The question was, or I was leading into this question, 30 plus years of being a pro wrestling fan, from what you're seeing today, is there anyone that has you, what I would call, hooked? Any of these young guys over the last 5 to 7 years that you're like, that guy's got it. I've seen it before. I know the smell. I know the look. I know the taste. I know the sound. Is there anybody out there right now, whether it be AEW, WWE, Independence, International, that has Perry Hartman's attention?
Yeah, definitely Austin Theory for sure. He, as long as he keeps his nose clean and stays out of the politics and does what Roman did and just put your nose to the ground and go, he's definitely on my radar. Another one is Butch, Pete Dunne.
Pete Dunne. You mad about the name change, or
no? I don't care. I don't care what his name is. Hey, by the way, one guy that I must promote now, NXT, Channing Lauren, Jake Tucker, Mother Lover, I am so proud of him, man. He is raw. I don't like the name change, but again, it doesn't matter because he knows what needs to be done for the eyes that are watching him. So, brother, I love you. Great job that you're doing matter of fact, I'm recording it right now. He's probably on right now. But this is such a blessing to see the new generation of guys. And hey, those of you who loved what they did in the past and what they're doing, listen, wrestling is pro wrestling. It has definitely changed. It has gotten better. I think their guys are giving a lot more of their bodies physically, but I think it's wonderful.
Yeah, my guy's Tony D'Angelo, and I won't hear none else about it. Capiche?
Capiche, that's it.
All right, Perry, well, we want to go ahead and close this thing out. Again, we could probably keep talking for hours. You know how you and I do. But, bro, please know that starting next week, we're going to have you back based on availability. We know you're a busy guy with a lot of things going on. But if possible, we'll have you on every single week. We're going to encourage people to do the prayer requests. We'll put that out either Friday night or Saturday morning to try to collect them for Tuesday. Why don't you go ahead and close this out like you always do with a couple of snippets of truth. It's all yours, brother. Take it.
Well, first of all, 2 prayer requests. One, I've got surgery July 13th on my back. I've been on my back for 8 weeks. I'm done, but I've lost a bunch of weight. I can't wait for the pinched nerve to be removed so that I can get back to what I've been wanting to do, which again, it's his timing. Second prayer request is for the Wrestle Talk podcast. God has been so faithful in providing technology and everything that you guys have needed to make this podcast possible. So I definitely want to add those 2 prayer requests. And the greatest piece of truth that I can leave tonight is that if you're watching this right now and you are without hope and you are without eternal life, he is a gift. This opportunity that you have right now to trust him, it's a gift. You can't work for it. You cannot impress a perfect God. So I just want to impress upon you today that if you haven't trusted him yet, you can do it right now. Father God, I thank you so much for this opportunity that you've given us to not only get to know you more, but to encourage those that are listening and watching that not only that there is hope, but there is truth, and that truth is found in you. I thank you so much for all those that are watching that have been waiting to have their prayers answered. Father, you wrote the words, "Come to me, all who are weary and heavy laden, and I will give you rest." You wrote those words, so we come to you now. We thank you so much for this opportunity, Father. There's so many things going on in this world, so much hate, so much anger, so much division, but I know, Lord, that you are building up your church. I know that you work every moment of every day, that you never rest, that you're always ready to care. You are the one who said, for those who love you, you work all things together for good. But we know that even for those that don't love you, we know that you paid the ultimate price for all the sins of the world, not just those who believed, but those who have not believed as well. And we just pray, Father, right now that there's somebody who's been impacted by this small, short moment of time, and that you would continue to guide them and continue to encourage them. We thank you so much for all that you continue to do. Open every door that needs to be open, close every door that needs to be closed. And we ask these things in the name of the one that saved me, Jesus Christ, in whose name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Ladies and gentlemen, the chaplain of the Wrestle Talk podcast, the one and only Big Daddy P. Make some noise, guys. Come on, man. Make some noise, man.
And by the way, what happened to my intro?
Well, Joe, you know, him and the intern got into a fight, and so we're gonna need you to send us that again.
Man, you know, here's a snippet of truth. I like how we passed the buck on that.
Yeah, well, he's not here, so, you know, it's easy.
Well, I will resend it. I love you guys. I appreciate you. Have an awesome evening, and thank you for this opportunity, even in the condition I'm in, to share the love of God with a lost and dying world.
Wow, gentlemen.
I really do remember the Snippets of Truth segment. I when you said that, I'm like, that's who that is. I was just like, ding, light bulb went off. So
I'm gonna tell you guys, it's awesome to see Big Daddy P back here on the Wrestle Talk podcast. I mean, it shows you just how wide of a reach the Wrestle Talk podcast has had over the past 400 episodes. And again, thank you again, Perry, for coming on the program. You know something, guys? It just keeps going. We got more people that are here to join us. And I tell you what, I'm going to go ahead here and introduce another member of the Wrestle Talk podcast family who has had an opportunity to go from a correspondent, from a guest, to a correspondent, to a regular co-host here on the Wrestle Talk podcast. He is also the proprietor of Interstate 70 Sports Media. Ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and welcome on to the show this evening, the maestro, Jeremy Karp. Jeremy, how are you doing this evening, sir?
I am doing all right, gentlemen. You guys can hear me loud and clear?
You sound good, brother.
We're hearing loud and clear. He doesn't have to worry about any Ethernet cables.
No Ethernet cables. I'm loving it. I'm loving every second of it.
Hey,
you may wonder why.
Ethernet cables don't work when the modem goes out. So just so you know.
That is true.
It's true. But I just want to say, you may wonder why I got like this random old school lamp setup thing back here. Well, we got some Cardinals gear, we got some Mizzou gear, but most importantly, a picture of my grandma and my grandpa. I know my grandpa's up in heaven watching, and just got off talking with my grandma not too long ago before I joined in. So family first always. So
always.
True. That is true.
Happy 400, guys.
Hey, happy 400 to you, Maestro. And I just wanted to say, bro, like people used to get a misconception about this show because we were doing the Snippets of Truth, and you know, people would be on hold and they'd be hearing this prayer going on. Okay, so listen. Jeremy is obviously Jewish, right? I'm Christian, and Chris and the other guys may be something else. Like, we're not trying to push this on anybody. You guys heard what Perry said. Like, no matter where you're from, what you believe in, like, let's just, look to each other and be a little bit more loving and caring and compassionate. He expresses his love for other people through, Jesus or whatever, because that's what he believes in. But we are by no means trying to alienate or discriminate against anybody in their beliefs. Jeremy, I think, knows that. Otherwise, he wouldn't be a part of the Wrestle Talk podcast team. So we respect.
Yeah, it'd be kind of boring otherwise if I didn't.
Yeah, it would. Yeah, diversity, baby.
If I didn't push that little edge, I jokingly had said, for those tuning in backstage, I had said to them, I guess the reason I'm waiting this long is because I'm Jewish, isn't it? But see, these are the only guys. These are the only guys that I would say that to, because I mean, honestly, because
unless your last name is Seinfeld, you're not getting to the front of the line, my friend. I'm sorry.
No, exactly. Well, I want to, or else Chris's favorite wrestler, Goldberg.
Or Goldberg.
Yeah.
Is that your fan? Aren't you the leader of the Bill
Not
Goldberg
a
fan
chance.
club?
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he is.
No, I'm still trying to. That collection, man. Like, Harmon's collection. What?
Dude.
Renee, you mentioned about how much I would love that. I was in awe of it, because the only problem is, at this rate, I'm not gonna really have much room to put anything else. 45,000 plus sports cars.
All you need is one outfit, bro. That's it. Just one outfit every day.
Yeah, one outfit, but I mean, the closet's practically full too. So with the jerseys and everything and the sports shirts, I was gonna say, we'll just sleep on the floor. I've done it. So how we all doing this evening, guys?
Awesome, man.
Doing absolutely awesome, Jeremy. And you know what? I'm going to throw this out here real quick. And like I said, I know for a fact somewhere Kenny Casanova is going to make sure to take you some still shots of all his Goldberg memorabilia that's there. But guys, we've talked about the high spots. We've got pretty much a large portion of the Wrestle Talk family here as far as being on the media side. I think it's about that time that we go ahead and bring on our first guest. Now, I'm going to tell you from personal experience, this man and I, there were many people early in my career that always would ask me, when will we see the matchup between our next guest and myself inside the squared circle? And for the better part of almost a decade, our two paths never had the opportunity to cross. But I had an opportunity to sit down and talk with this man for the first time back in 2004. And since that time, he has been working very hard to develop a lot of things, whether it's his variations of the Lightfoot driver, or working inside the squared circle, or bringing the next generation of professional wrestlers here in the St. Louis area forward. So I felt it only fitting tonight that we have an opportunity to talk to a man who knows a lot about the history of St. Louis professional wrestling. So this time, please welcome to the Wrestle Talk podcast, the one, the only, the master of the Lightfoot driver, Jeremy Lightfoot.
Hey guys, it's good to be here.
Oh, we got music. We got the music. Yeah, let's go.
Let's go ahead, Hoss. You got it. Let's go give him a proper introduction.
I'm glad you played that and not Welcome to the Jungle. I was about to hang up right there.
No.
Just so you know, these are all generic songs because we don't want to get hit with a copyright violation.
Hey, I will take generic over the song that I was forced to use for like 15 years any day.
Just try and sue us.
Well,
Jeremy, welcome to the show, Jeremy, man.
Welcome.
Oh, thank you guys.
And the first question I want to pose, I know you've been on the program before. I want to ask you, for those that weren't able to tune in the last time, can you give us a little bit of background about how you got into the world of professional wrestling? And I just want to make sure here that our media team wasn't incorrect. Close to 25 years now? Am I correct? 25 years?
Close enough. August 8th will be 24 years.
Okay, well, can you go ahead and give us
hold on. That deserves a round of applause. I mean, come on. We're over here bragging about 400 episodes, bro. That's only like 6 years. Yo, 25 years? That's crazy, brother. Wow.
Oh.
Thank you.
How are you alive? I mean, I'm just kidding.
But he's not.
I died like 15 years ago. I'm just too stubborn to take it.
Oh, man. Well, Jeremy, I'm going to go ahead and ask again. How did you get into the world of professional wrestling? I know you've been a fan for a long time. We have many mutual friends that you've known throughout the years that have been wrestling fans, much like yourself. How did you make the transition from being just a spectator to getting inside the Fame Squared Circle?
Well, I'm going to tell a story that it's never been revealed because obviously it was always, my grandfather got me in and my father got me in because my father is a very big wrestling manager in the business, and my grandfather was a professional wrestler. A friend of mine, Freddie Jack Funkhauser, which is the son of legendary referee Billy Jack Funkhauser. We went to middle school together. I went to a show. I never knew what the indies were, and I was hooked. And I worked my way up. I was security, music, cameraman, you name it, I did it. And then one night somebody said, hey, do you want to learn how to wrestle? And that's how I became the youngest licensed wrestler in the state of Missouri. So.
Wow, bro. Well, I got to tell you right now, Jeremy, it's an opportunity. When you get inside that squared circle, it's like an itch. It's infectious. You get inside the ring and you compete. And I mean, again, I could go through some of the names that I know you've competed against, the likes of Spoiled Stephen Kennedy, Kid Curry, Rick Dustry. I think you had an opportunity. Did you ever wrestle Freddie Jacobs?
No, he has managed across the ring from me, though. Yes, I was
pretty close. Pretty close.
I took a lot of chair shots to the head, so I can't remember who he was managing at the time, but Freddie Jacobs was involved in the match, so yeah.
Well, but now I'm kind of pissed off. He's taking countless shots to the head. He still's got more hair than the Night Owl. That's some bullshit right there. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, okay, but Night Owl, bear in mind yours is going from here. Right. There ain't much. It's receding from the back. It's going. It's just.
Yeah, but you're tall, bro. Can't nobody see that? Nobody see that? Come on, man. Right here, I can't hide this.
Mine's
bro.
just turning gray. I don't know what anyone's talking about.
Oh, mine's going gray.
Mine's turned gray a long time ago, and I just and then during the pandemic, I'm like, screw this. I ain't gonna color it anymore. I ain't dealing with this anymore. I'm done.
Oh,
I've given up. I'm 45 and I've given up.
Yeah, but here's my question: if you're not going to Sally's to get that stuff, where are you gonna meet chicks? You gotta go to Sally's, bro. I mean, come on, that's where it's at.
Hey, I had a haircut girl for a while, but she retired during the pandemic. So
see, that's why he said screw it, because she said screw it.
Well, like I said, Jeremy, I got one more question I'm going to throw over to my colleagues. I know that you, I believe in the beginning, you spent time kind of cutting your teeth in the Central States Organization, Central States Wrestling Alliance, and I believe RCW as well. Can you tell us just a little bit about what you took? I mean, I know you trained to be a professional wrestler. What you took from those early years being in CSWA and RCW?
Slow down. That was one thing I transitioned from my early years to years now. And I always thought, Luke, you and me both being high flyers in our career, I always thought they meant quit hitting the moves so fast, quit running to the ring. Slow down, pace yourself. You got to breathe. You got 15 to 20 minutes to be in that ring. It's not the moves that you need to slow down. It's you that needs to slow down. And if I could go back then, that's the biggest thing I learned was slow down, take your time, absorb what you're doing, enjoy what you're doing, because as we all know, it can be taken away from you in a heartbeat. So
I couldn't agree with you more, Jeremy. I mean, unfortunately, I learned my lesson with a very tall man, the wild man from Sudan. He kind of reminded me that lesson pretty quickly, that when you're in the ring, you can do all sorts of things. You can have a wide knowledge base, but when it comes down to it, you've got to make sure that you're in the right frame of mind, you're in the right conditioning, and you know how things go. And like, again, being able to share that information. We're going to talk a little more about that later on. I'm going to go ahead and throw things over. I know you and Chris have known each other for many years as well. I'm going to go ahead and throw this over to Chris Rodell, because I know he's got a couple questions for you as well.
Yeah, we kind of became reacquainted. He was at an MMWA show that I was at for the light heavyweight tournament, and because he was a former MMWA. Were you a light heavyweight or a cruiserweight? Which one?
I was both, actually. Both. I'm one of the very few that held MMWA's junior weight title, and I was also the heavyweight champion. I had a two-time run with the lightweight title, gained a little extra weight, wanted to go after the heavyweight title, and then I held the heavyweight title roughly for about 8 months before losing it to Shaft. wildly of a lot of people.
Right? Isn't it amazing how the historic South Broadway Athletic Club still like turns over the amount of crowds that they do every single month? It is just it's a. I mean, they're drawing.
No matter what shows come out, no matter how much money people put into a production, for me, MMWA will always be the granddaddy of them all. It's been around since '85. Anybody who's anybody in this business has graced the halls of MMWA, or at least watched a show live down at the historical South Broadway Athletic Club. So to me, it's the granddaddy of them all. It's the creme de la creme.
And up until this past year, I have been to Broadway shows many a time. I've been to many times with Luke. We've had a couple of cocktails at the bar down there at the historic South Broadway Athletic Club. But I actually got to ring it out, and I've done it a couple times this year. So it's a bucket list item that has been marked off my wrestling list. But I'm going to talk about the current junior heavyweight rankings at MMWA, not rankings, but the roster there. There's one person that really sticks out to me, and I know you know him very, very, very well, as he's part of the CHWA roster as well. He just won the MMWA junior heavyweight title, and I've told Luke this many times. If anybody stands out to me, it's Tommy Davis. So
yes,
tell the world about Tommy Davis.
You can't describe Tommy Davis without a smile. The guys today, and I'm not bashing anyone, you rarely see heart, you rarely see dedication and aggression. And Tommy has all three. He comes to the ring with a goal, and that goal is to keep his belt or to win. And he does it very well. Somebody that kicks the hardest I've ever seen kick. His chops, believe it or not, guys, for those that have not seen him wrestle, rival mine. Matter of fact, I felt his chops before, and if mine are worse than his, I apologize to anybody for the last 24 years because his are killer. Tommy is an up-and-coming star that hasn't even hit his peak yet. He's not even near the top of the mountain, and he's already leveling trees and people that are in front of him. The entire junior heavyweight division today is blowing my mind. Guys like Chris Exodus, Lucas, Tommy Davis, Frodo the Ghost, Andrew Wilder, Zulu. I mean, the list goes on and on. They make the lightweights of yesteryears, guys like myself and Luke Roberts, look like lightweights. I mean, back in my day, a Hurricane Rana and a Tilt-A-Whirl head scissors was a guaranteed win. Now these guys are doing flips 3 times before hitting their opponents and not killing themselves. I tip my hat to every junior heavyweight in the Midwest industry.
So who has had the biggest influence in your career overall? Who name one or two, 3 people?
Obviously it was anybody that wore war paint, but the one guy that was a huge influence on my career was Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. I watched all of his matches. I loved all his mannerisms. As a matter of fact, it was him that influenced me having my son, Austin Lightfoot, accompany me to the ring when Austin became a teenager. So Legion of Doom, Sting, anybody that wore war paint, obviously anybody of the Native American nationalities that were professional wrestlers, I always loved watching because I'm sure we're related somewhere. Yeah, that's my influences right there.
And is there anybody, my last question is there anybody that in the local area, I mean, I guess you don't have to be in even the local area, it could be on the independent scene, that you really want to step into the ring with just once?
I'll get that wish July 3rd.
And you can't say Luke Roberts.
I would love to have worked Luke Roberts up. Actually, I'll get that wish July 3rd. One of my students from 18 years ago who's became an amazing promoter. He's became a phenomenal wrestler, but he still hasn't been taken down enough pegs that he needs to. So July 3rd for Epic Pro Wrestling at the Sports Tap, I will be stepping into the ring with none other than Lenny Mephisto. And we're going to lock horns, and then anything goes bar fight.
Ooh.
Yo, what is it about Lenny that just rubs a lot of, not us, he's a member of the Wrestle Talk family. He reaches out to me occasionally one-on-one. Super solid guy. He's just a no bullshit kind of guy. What do you think it is about Lenny that rubs people the wrong way? I mean, you're stepping in the ring and throwing fisticuffs with the guy, so you would know.
It's not that he rubs me the wrong way. The one thing I respect about Lenny is, like you said, he is no bullshit. He is straightforward. If you're a jerk, he's going to tell you you're a jerk. If you're a great wrestler, he's going to tell you. He's not going to sugarcoat anything. He's always been at the top of his game. I'm not stepping in there because I don't like him. I'm stepping in there because if I can't keep going after I'm done with him, then there's no reason to keep going. I'm getting in there because it's student versus teacher. It's finally two men that have matured in this business and that can go the distance and see where it goes from there. Those that don't like him, the only reason they don't like him is because he is out front and they're being told what they want to hear and not what they need to hear. And Lenny's the type that's going to tell them what they need to hear.
And if I remember right, that show is Pro Wrestling Epic. That's at the Alton Sports Tap, right? Blood, Sweat, and Beers, I believe it's called.
Yes, Blood, Sweat, and Beers. It's July 3rd.
I believe it's also an outdoor show, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which the sky's the limit, and I can promise you, me and Mephisto are going to prove that theory.
If I remember where the Sports Tap is, you're not going to end up on like one of those one of the like main drags, because if I remember right, isn't that near like a main like artery or something?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the referees are hoping we don't make it out there because they don't want to follow us out there. But with
I know a couple guys have done referee work before.
Yeah, with myself and Mephisto, you never know. You never know.
Well, I got to tell you right now, guys, when you look at this matchup on July 3rd, you're going to have, and I'll be honest, the technical knowledge is there. I've got to tell you, there's two things that stand out to me. One of the things that's been so great about Lightfoot and I is we can call it right on the table. When it comes to being outside the box, being able to think just things that nobody would ever imagine, I think Mephisto's got the edge. But when it comes to just a straight out-and-out fight, I got to give the nod to Jeremy Lightfoot. He's been in some wild and crazy matches. He's been in cages. He's been in strap matches. He's been in countless different types of matches. And I think right now, on July 3rd, people need to get their ticket because this match is going to be a fight. And again, this is a matchup that two men are going to go out there and they're going to settle a score. And I mean, I know, just like you said, the man is constantly learning. It's going to be the student versus teacher matchup. And speaking of which, I want to take it a minute here. We go from one set of students back in the day with Mid-America Extreme Pro Wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
And I now want to move forward to, we've already talked about some about CHWA. You've had a lot of matches. You've had a lot of connection with that promotion. Can you tell us a little bit about what you've been doing recently with a lot of those competitors and what you see in the Cottage Hills Wrestling Alliance?
CHWA is possibly the most fun I've ever had in this business. The locker room is just full of guys that are hungry. They're anxious to learn. They're not afraid to ask. There are a couple bad eggs, but what promotion doesn't have? But every week, Sunday, we film our TV show. What I'm doing with the students is I'm basically helping them with things that I was taught over the years. I'm bringing back a little bit of the old school. You know, why pick a guy up and slam him when you can jump on his hips and give him a monkey flip? You're saving your breath as well as your energy. So I'm working on things with them that, you know, the wheel was never broken, so why fix it? Things from the 80s, from the early 90s, stuff that happened before any of those kids were born. But I can tell you guys, I'm there every week with them, and they are the most hungry group of individuals that I've ever seen, and they bring it. They work really hard for what they got. And speaking of, if you guys don't mind, I got another show I'd like to plug. It is next Sunday, June 26th at 127 West MacArthur Drive in Cottage Hills, Illinois. It is their Kenny Ray Memorial pay-per-view. And the matches that are on this card are just going to blow the roof off of anything. And that's why this show is also outside because there's not a building that can contain this pay-per-view.
Well, I got to tell you, Jeremy, again, when it comes down to professional wrestling, you've seen a lot. You've been pretty much, you name it. I mean, and just going through the list, he's been MMWA, SICW. I believe he spent just a couple of matches in MRW, GCW.
GCW, yeah, I miss GCW. And Dynamo is basically what GCW was, but better. And a lot of my guys at CHWA are working for Dynamo. And
Jim and Crystal, the legends.
Yes, they are legends. And they brought that company up from the ashes, and they've got an amazing set of trainers, drawing a great show. I absolutely love anything that is Dynamo. I love the fact that I can go to Dynamo and watch as a fan and not worry about, oh, well, this guy, he's not trained. That guy needs gear. I love watching it as a fan because they draw me in. Dynamo has that ability.
And it's funny you say that Saturday, it's our 15th anniversary show. We've got Delirious coming in. So,
but Chris,
I will be there.
I got to throw this one out here as well. And again, we've talked about Lightfoot's match on July 3rd. I got to throw this one out here. Delirious taking on Beachbody Ryan Ash. Now, the stipulation, from what I understand, is if Ryan Ash cannot defeat Delirious, he will retire from professional wrestling. I got to get your thoughts on this very, very high-profile matchup this Saturday.
Mm-hmm. Well, Ryan Ash needs to bring his A game, but so does Delirious. They were part of my class. If you want to look at wrestling ages as class, when they were in their prime, I was in my prime. Now we're all older, but experience brings pain. And both of these guys have a wealth of experience. I'm not going to sell Ryan Ash short. He's an amazing, phenomenal wrestler. Delirious is an amazing and phenomenal wrestler. Regardless of outcome, you are going to see one hell of a wrestling contest. These guys are going to lock horns, and you're going to see moves that you haven't seen in 20 years, and you're going to see moves that you've never seen because both of their minds are going just as fast as their bodies. Two very impressive wrestlers, and I've already got my tickets. I'm ready to rock and roll.
Renee's over there licking his lips on that. So
I'm ready. Hey, I straight up, man. I'm coming off Father's Day and my birthday. Maybe I could make a quick trip to the loo. You know what I'm saying?
You need to come on down, man.
Yeah.
You've been saying me and you were going to meet for the last 8 years. It's
You're right
time.
about that. You're right about that. Plus, I hear whenever I show up, guaranteed by Chris Rodell, I get a dozen toasted wraps whenever I show up to St. Louis, guaranteed. And maybe Luke Roberts will come through on them cream horns again. Oh, wait. Hey, you know what I was going to say, though? You guys can say everything you want about Delirious. There's no disrespect intended. But have you ever tried interviewing that gentleman? OMG. Well, this guy right here lined that up for us at Natsucon about 5 years ago. And let me tell you, bro, it's like trying to figure out 6 different languages at the exact same time. When you interview
in reverse.
It's in reverse. It's absolutely freaking nuts. Well, listen, I only have one question for you, Jeremy, and actually, that's a lie. It's kind of 2. So,
okay,
but I'm gonna kind of put them all into one. So, as proud as you are of everything you've done inside the pro wrestling circle and in the pro wrestling world, a couple of years ago when you came on, you said something to me that resonated, and I'm gonna tell you that I don't have a great memory, but there's certain things that stick with me. Our conversation with you did. When Skywalker said, hey, Jeremy Lightfoot would like to come on the show for 400. He's available. Can we make it happen? I said, absolutely, because I've been wanting to say this to you for a long time. Maybe I should wait for this Saturday when I try to take my ass over to St. Louis for the Dynamo show. But in case I can't make it, let me say this to you. What you said to us on your last appearance on the show about making your son one of the youngest professional wrestlers in the state of Missouri, just like you were. And the fact that you had those kind of dreams, not just for yourself selfishly, but for your son, and the fact that you pursued that and made it happen is something that I want to give you kudos for, because as men, when we finally get to this certain position, we're doing a little bit better than we were doing in our 20s. Things are going a little bit better than maybe we thought they would be. It's easy to be selfish and only think about yourself. But even since back then when you came on that one time, and you talked about wanting to not only leave a legacy, but give your son a platform so that he can start building his own, and then to actually go out and do that shit, bro. Like, forgive my French. That's something that it just forget the podcast, bro. That's real shit. Like,
thank you.
You put your son in that position, and regardless of whether people are Jeremy Light fans or never heard of you before, the fact that you try to put your son on that pedestal and really, like, truly, you know, inspire the next generation and continue. Like, you're giving your family to the sport of pro wrestling by bringing your son in that early. So I want to thank you, and I want to say that that's truly inspirational, bro. And it's great to see that your son has taken to the sport. And I'm not sure exactly where his progress is at this point. I don't want to lie and say I watch every match or anything like that. But I know
he's still training.
Yeah.
He's still training and he's still learning. The one thing that I can extend on what I said on the podcast so many years ago is the beauty part that not only am I part of me and my son's journey, but being part of the Lightfoot dynasty. I mean, it's a big thing. You got to figure my grandfather was a professional wrestler. My father is one of the most dangerous managers ever to work in the Midwest. Then you've got myself, my son, who manages me, and he's training as hard as he can. My daughter, who is Maddie Exodus, she's married to Chris Exodus, is winning lightweight titles and winning women's titles all over the country, and is now CHWA tag team champions with her and Ashlyn Alexander. My son-in-law, who runs CHWA, is now the current MMWA tag team champions with L-Ride. The blood of Lightfoot will continue to flow long after I'm gone, and the style and the dynasty and the legacy will continue to flow because I've got two beautiful, talented kids. I've got an amazing father. I've got an amazing son-in-law. And guys, if anybody ever used the word bless more, it's me. I am extremely blessed for the family that I have.
Wow. And we're blessed that your family has put blood, sweat, and tears and years into the professional wrestling business. And then here's my very last question, which I failed to kind of capture in that last one. We have a new logo here. I'm going to show it off again. And it made me think of you because you have a Native American heritage, and that's something that means a whole lot to you. Part of the reason your hair is so awesome, be thankful. Thank your ancestors. Jeez Louise. Bro, how do you feel? And maybe I think there's like a fear in the professional wrestling world of people to play Native American characters. I think they're very, very sensitive, especially with the logos and some of this other stuff that's been happening with the NFL. Do you feel that the representation of the Native American culture has been a little underwhelming over the last 10 or 15 years? Because I think pretty much since Tatanka, we haven't really seen, maybe I'm forgetting somebody, haven't really seen a true blue Native American. We've seen the Samoans, we've seen the Mexicans, we've seen the Europeans, the Germans and all. We've seen them all, the Japanese, obviously, and the Americans, that goes without saying. But the Native American representation, do you feel like it's been a little bit underwhelming? And man, what can we do to change that a little bit?
People need to quit being afraid. I understand that we're in a world today where if I say a certain word, it's going to offend a lot of people, and that word has to be bleeped, no matter what that word is.
Right.
If you're proud of your heritage, support it. Just because I get in the ring wearing a headdress doesn't mean that I'm insulting my heritage. That's what I wear to the ring. That's what motivates me. Be proud of who you are, whether it be black, white, Mexican, Hispanic, it doesn't matter. Come to the ring dressed as what you are. I mean, take Zulu, for example. Right. Nobody says that, wow, Zulu's this amazing African wrestler, but he does come to the ring in African garb. I come to the ring in Native American garb. I use my family's name. And sorry, guys, this train goes by every 15 minutes. I can't help that.
I got one by my house too, bro. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it.
But for future Native American wrestlers that are wanting to train, if you do your tribe and you do your clan justice and you do it right and you're not insulting it, you're not hurting it. The football industry and the baseball industry with the teams and the names and even some of the logos, that was insulting to the Native American people, to the indigenous people. But if you come out and you're supporting your tribe, and you know what your war paint represents and what it means and what your headdress means, you're doing a justice to your people instead of an injustice. So to me, don't be afraid. And if anybody wants to step up, tell them to show them your papers. Guys, I don't mean to get into a race war. I'm sorry, but I've noticed most of the time, anytime somebody says, "Well, isn't your tribe and your clan and your band, aren't they upset with what you're doing?" 90% of the people that you offend with your gimmick is people that don't even have the bloodline.
Yeah, exactly. They don't know. Bro.
So quit being afraid. Be who you are and support who you are and love what heritage you come from.
And I'm going to kind of cross the line a little bit here and say, F that train. We all know, going back in history, for those of you guys who pay attention, I know Jeremy does, the train had a lot to do with what happened with the Native Americans and the Buffalo. Let's not forget that. So F that train, goddammit.
How wild is that? He's talking about us driving through.
That's right. The damn train is still talking over you, man. All you say recently. Oh, I know. I'm always borderline. All right. So I did promise, and I want Jeremy, you got to be 100% honest with me. I want you to keep it hardcore, brother. I want to go ahead and show that logo again, and I want to get your sincere thoughts on it, because I respect your opinion. You heard what I had to say about you before and everything you've done with your son. So because the feathers are so prevalent in your gimmick, allow me to share this one more time with the fans of the Wrestle Talk podcast and get your thoughts on it, man. What do you think about the brand new Wrestle Talk podcast logo, brother? Just be honest with us. We're tough guys. We got thick skin. What do you think?
You don't need to worry about a thick skin, man. When I was sitting backstage in the little area waiting for you guys to bring me on and you popped it up, I already said to myself, well, I'm getting one. So it looks great. It looks absolutely awesome. But you got to put Lightfoot underneath it for me. We got to represent.
You got it. We can have that custom made for you, man. Little Popeye Designs.
Beautiful.
Out with that. And by the way, guys, we still do have, the old-fashioned Wrestle Talk podcast. Let's call that edition 1 of our merch line, where you can still get those courtesy of Rathbun and Graven. Well, guys, I think this has been, for as short as it's been, probably one of the funnest interviews that we've done in a long time. And the one that we had before this, with everybody that's been joining us, had been just as crazy and as fun. So let me just say, and I want to give everybody an opportunity to say their piece. But Jeremy, again, thank you for the inspiration, bro. Thank you for the 25 years of blood, sweat, tears, and years, brother. Keep it up. You and Mephisto are going to absolutely tear the house down. And who knows, you might actually see the Night Owl this Saturday at Dynamo Pro Wrestling for their feet.
Dude, I'd be honored. Man. That'd be great.
What would be better, man? Hey, first drinks on me, whether it's coffee, soda, or beer. If I see you, bro, holla at your boy, man. We'll get one.
What's in the cup is nobody's business but ours, brother.
You're damn right about that. I'm bringing my glass with me, baby. I'm bringing the tumbler with, man. Skywalker, what do you got?
Well, first of all, Jeremy, I got to say thank you for coming on the program. You and I have known each other for many, many years. We've been training. We've been in different matches. I've been an official in your matches, and you've always delivered on everything inside the ring. And again, you've got Jeremy Lightfoot figures, and you got Jeremy Lightfoot brawling buddy or wrestling buddies that you can purchase from Jeremy Lightfoot, as well as many, many others. But I got to say again, thank you for being able to come on the program tonight. I mean, again, you're giving the next generation of professional wrestling an opportunity to get started off on the right foot. And I know that the Maestro had one more question before we go ahead and take care of things. So, Maestro, I'm going to go ahead and throw it over to you for your last question, and in turn, your final thoughts.
All right, awesome. Okay, thank you so much. This has definitely been an absolute pleasure to listen to. And yeah, honestly, so I will say Renee had asked about everything regarding, kind of your gimmick and incorporating, your bloodline and everything. So I'm going to transition that to a question I have regarding your family.
Yes, sir.
Wrestling is in the blood of your family, know, all the way up from your grandfather, and it's passed on to your children, and it's probably going to be passed on past that.
Yes, I hope.
Because of that,
God willing.
Do you feel there is a sense, a little bit of pressure that was put on you when you were starting out in wrestling? And how do you feel, for Maddie, for Austin, and even with Chris? Chris, I'm thankful to know Maddie and Chris very well.
Yeah.
with Dynamo Pro. I could not say enough positive things about both of them.
Thank you. That means the world. Thank you.
Oh yeah, in fact, my first promo interview, backstage, was interviewing Maddie Exodus when she made her debut, at a Dynamo Pro show. So
Awesome.
that's
Got her
also
mom's
really
looks and her dad's attitude. She's an amazing kid.
Absolutely, I love just seeing them both wrestle. And so, how do you I got to think of the best way to put it. Basically, how does the ladder keep going in the Lightfoot family as far as professional wrestling?
Just determination. It was never forced on any of us. Grandpa never forced it on my father. And I mean, my father's the only one in the business that didn't wrestle. He had a bad back when the opportunity came, but he still contributed with professional wrestling. It's never been forced. It's always been asked. And if it's asked, then of course we're going to welcome it with open arms. If somebody says it's not for me, it's not for me. I look at a bloodline just the way I look at fans and non-fans of professional wrestling. You either love it or you hate it. There is no in between. And there are members of our family that deny, we're not related to the Lightfoots. We look like them, but I'm not going to force it. And I don't recommend anybody else forcing it on their children. For any other family that wants to be in it, let them do what they want to do. If they want to wrestle, let them wrestle. They want to play softball, support it. They want to be superheroes. As far off as it is, guys, we saw in 2020 anything can happen in the world. So they want to be superheroes, let them be superheroes. Just support your kids. That's all I ask. That's the only thing you can do. Don't force them to be part of something that you loved. Let them do something that they love.
I love that because, it's interesting because my late grandpa, was a huge wrestling fan. And I'm talking back in the days of Lou Thez, Gorgeous George. We're talking old school.
See, your grandfather remembers my grandfather. I try not to mention my grandfather too much because then there's controversy with Wikipedia, but.
Right. But yeah, my grandpa would probably remember seeing your grandfather wrestle.
He wrestled at the Chase, right?
Yep. And he passed away. He was 80 years old. He passed away in 2010. Thankfully, my other grandpa's with us, who is probably one of the few remaining people who do remember Gorgeous George at Wrestling at the Chase. I'll tell you that much. He'll be 91 on July 1st. But when I got to make my debut at Dynamo, you had mentioned about just the love of wrestling and the determination. You asked me 2 or 3 years ago. I never thought. I had known Chris and Renee and Luke, who I owe so much of my career to. I never thought I'd be where I'm at, but it was just because of that determination. I love hearing that, and I love that nothing is forced in your family. It's just the love, the connection, and the heart. And this has seriously been one of the greatest pleasures and greatest interviews I've been a part of in any capacity.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I really do. The older you get, the more humble you become. And all those kind words definitely touch me right here, guys.
Awesome. Night Owl.
All right.
No, well, Rodell. I know you guys. I think Rodell is the last one. I didn't want to, because I could keep going. Obviously,
you know what they're doing, Luke. They're Googling my grandfather. They're looking for him right now. Is what they're doing.
They're saying, "Holy shit, what does he look like?"
And I did want to say, for the record, I didn't know, if you guys were publicizing the your daughter also being in professional wrestling. So I wanted to tread lightly and only mention.
Oh, you're fine.
I didn't know. I try to be respectful of what people have going on with their stories and stuff. So of course, man.
For you guys on the fourth
wall, right?
For you guys on the 400th episode, I'm going to piss off a lot of people with controversy, but Danny Little Bear is my grandfather from the Wrestling at the Chase.
We're not pissing us off, baby. This is a wrestle.
No, I know I'm going to piss a lot of other people off, but it is what it is.
Yeah, F them and F that train.
Get over it.
Yeah, they got F them and F that damn train.
Exactly.
All right, Rodell, any final thoughts here, bro? I know.
I just want
over here. But, this has been a great interview.
Yeah, it's been a great interview. I just want to thank Jeremy for coming on.
Thank you, Chris.
It's been great seeing you at the arenas here. I might try to make it out there to that barroom brawl or bar fight.
It's going to be a knockdown drag out.
Someone might die. I'm not quite for sure. So, but I hope you have a good time. Thanks for coming on out.
Thank you.
Renee, you got social medias you want to drop real quick?
Yeah.
I'm on Facebook. That's about it. And you can always find me on Facebook, Jeremy Lightfoot. Since there is so many Jeremy Lightfoots, it's always something to do with wrestling. That'll help you find it. You can see me next weekend, June 26th, at the Kenny Ray Memorial Show for Cottage Hills Wrestling Alliance, CHWA. And then you can see me July 3rd in Alton at the Blood, Sweat, and Beers for PWE.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, make some noise. Guys, round of applause.
Thank you.
Jeremy Lightfoot, man. Have yourself a great night, brother. Thank you for being
here. You guys as well. Thank you.
Appreciate it, man. Take it easy. Wow. Dude, Kenny, Jeremy Lightfoot, and we ain't done yet, gentlemen. Just 1 out of 5 super kicks. What do you guys think about episode 400 so far, man? 1 out of 5. Just go ahead and put it up.
I need to catch my breath.
Maestro, 10 super kicks. Okay, we're way over the quota. That's good stuff, man. That's good stuff. Well, you know what? I know everyone's chomping at the bit for Flash Flanagan. He is in the dressing room preparing for the main event, okay? And you guys know card is subject to change. Sometimes we run a little bit late. That's kind of what's happening here tonight because, we've had, Kenny showing up and touring us through his house. It's just I'm having a hard time. Like Chris said, I'm trying to catch my breath with everything that's gone on here. And guys, what a compliment, right? On the new logo and the merchandise by a guy like Jeremy Lightfoot. We all know that if there's one thing that we're not going to get from Jeremy Lightfoot is BS, man. The fact that he loved it and thought it was great, I think is a huge compliment. It's actually kind of me on cloud 9 right now. Somebody from outside the team thinks it's great. That means the absolute world to me. Now, on that note, we will be jumping over to our featured guest of this third hour after 8:30, I should say, Flash Flanagan, in just a little bit. But now things are about to kind of go a little bit out of control and overboard. And I'm going to give DJ Big Sexy, the Maestro, and Luke Roberts an opportunity to kind of digress from the next 10 to 12 minutes because I am bringing on the rambunctious and out of control people of the FWWC. I know you guys have jobs, you have families, you got interests outside of your jobs, and I don't want those things to be affected by these folks that are getting ready to come on. Let's just say we're going to go from PG-13 to rated R for a couple of minutes because the members of the FWWC, no filters, no bullshit, okay? And the reason we're bringing them on is because we've had this connection with the FWWC for such a long time, and the partnership that I have, particularly with the co-owner of the company, Dewan Mills, is something that goes far beyond the world of professional wrestling. So, Maestro, DJ, Big Sexy, Skywalker, if you guys want to take a quick break, you're more than welcome to do that. But if you decide to stay, just know you've officially signed the waiver, okay? Because the FWWC don't play no damn games, and you guys know it. Am I wrong?
I'll be back in about 10 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll be back in 10 minutes.
All right. I respect it, and I completely understand that. So I am going to bring on a gentleman, though, who happens to be running our boards backstage. Let's make sure he remembers to unmute himself before I bring on the CEO, Dewan Mills. Hardcore Hoss, you and I have made our bones in this business mainly through the FWWC and then eventually here on the Wrestle Talk podcast. I want to give you to do something that you rarely have an opportunity to do, and that's do an introduction. So, sir, if you wouldn't mind, you've done this so very well for so long on the FWWC Tonight podcast, also sponsored by the Wrestle Talk podcast. More information on the FWWC over at WrestleTalkPodcast.com/fantasy wrestling. But Hardcore Hoss, please, I couldn't do it any better than you. Why don't you go ahead and introduce our next guest?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is that time now for the FWWC. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. So let's go ahead and get the man in here himself, the one, the only, the CEO, Dewan Mills.
You give me too much credit, Hoss. You give me too much credit, bro. You do, man. What is the deal? Can you hear me? Can you see me? Are we live on 400, baby?
You are live.
400. I just left happy hour, so if I feel a little more rambunctious and a little bit of a better mood, you know why. We wasn't drinking water. We know that much.
Hey. Welcome to the show, Dewan. What a great introduction, Haas. Awesome job by you, man. I'm going to go ahead and take Dewan for just a moment, one-on-one, because I think we need to go ahead and have a little conversation, just him and myself, considering that we are the two guys that are running the FWWC. Is that okay with you, Haas? Just a moment.
Hey, I'm good to go.
Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you.
It is warm in KC.
It is a little hot. Hey, bro, what are you doing wearing my shirt color tonight?
What do you say? Hey, for whatever reason, the blue is in. I don't know what it is. I guess that's the official color of the Wrestle Talk podcast. Which, by the way, that logo is freaking awesome. That merch is freaking awesome.
Crazy.
Congratulations on 400, bro. I remember when it was episode 1. Yeah. This is nuts, not Al. This is crazy, nuts, man. Dude. 400. Blessings to you, dude. Straight up.
Bro, I appreciate it. I know the boys, the whole team, Sunny Money, Luke Skywalker, Chris Rodell, Jeremy Karp, of course, Hardcore Haas, and all the contributors of the show. Really appreciate that, because we know that you yourself run something pretty successful of your own, and that is the FWWC. Now, we're going to get into the FWWC stuff here in just a second. And from what I understand, and I know it's not illegal in any state in the union, but you got two pit bulls ready to be cut loose on each other that you're actually going to bring on and kind of try to constrain and wrangle these two at the same time, because
maybe not each other.
Okay.
Maybe not each other. Trust me.
Okay.
Tonight's announcement is going to make history. I'll just leave it at that.
Okay. Well, I absolutely love to hear that. And again, for anybody excited and anxious and looking forward to the interview with Flash Flanagan, to close out the show, give us just a couple of minutes. We are running a little bit behind schedule. Hopefully he's able to hang with us for another 10 or 12 minutes or so, and then we'll jump into that. I know a lot of people have been messaging me, hey, we thought it was going to be about 8:20, 8:30. Just bear with us, guys. It's been an absolutely incredible show, and we don't want to cut anybody short, because it is episode 400, and I think this is definitely going to be one for the history book. So, Dewan, I've only got 2 questions, and we'll get into the guest callers, so to speak.
Yes, sir. Well, I got to do the card first.
Okay,
I have to do the card.
Okay, so let's go ahead and get through the card as quickly as possible. I'll hit you with the 2 questions. Then we'll bring on the callers, and we'll close her out, man. Give me what you got.
Got to do. All right. Haas, if you can, please put the card up, sir. So this Friday, we have an amazing FWC Friday Night Challenge. 6/24, Friday night. Good friends, better enemies. It will be Battlecat and James Buckus, who will be involved in the triple threat match at Money in the Bank for the Spartans Art Championship against Funky Flex. They'll be teaming up this Friday. Again, good friends, better enemies. They will be battling against none other than Evan Lash and the returning Douglas James. And in a double main event, this has been crazy. This has been wild. The past couple weeks have been amazing with the FWC Tag Team Tournament. The double main event this Friday. The last 4 teams, once we decide who the last 2 teams were, those 2 teams will go on to Money in the Bank to decide the number 1 contender for the FWC Tag Team Championships. That is the Promise of Madness versus Assassin Syndicate and the Devil's Dynasty versus Holy Hell. It is going to be a wild and crazy Friday night. I hope everybody's ready. The FWC is going to be live. But I do want to get into something else, Night Owl, real quick. So Night Owl has entrusted me to be the booker of the FWC. So when you see the cards, when you see all the matches put together, that is yours truly. With 10 years of experience in the fantasy wrestling game, I think I know what I'm doing. But there's always one person that has to run their mouth. There's always one person that has to have a little bit of critique. And that one person is always none other than El Luchador de KC. Now, I have respect for El Luchador. He's been a part of this group just about as long as I have. Maybe not 10 years, about 7 or 8. But he always wants to co-sign when there's BS going on. In particular, this past Monday, in a 5-on-1 handicap match, he has something to say about it alongside with Madman Joe. Now, I'm not going to screw with Madman Joe because obviously he's busy. But El Luchador, I'm going to screw with you real good because I know what you love more. You love competition. You love the FWC. You love being a part of things. Well, guess what, sir? No good deed goes unpunished. So I'm going to make an announcement and do something that I've never done before on the FWC tonight. I'm going to announce a match for this upcoming Monday. Not Friday, this upcoming Monday. It will be a 2-on-1 handicap match. That is correct. Since you want to critique, hold on. There you go. Breaking news. Breaking news. Give it to me, Hoss. Give it to me. Oh, because I'm on Friday night. It's episode 400. Come on. Oh, Hoss, you know I was ready. So, since you want to critique the card, since you want to co-sign and get involved in business that has nothing to do with you, Lucha, you know I'm a fair booker. You know I'm a fair CEO. But what I don't appreciate is criticism and getting involved in business that ain't got nothing to do with you. So since you want to be in my business, I'm going to be in yours. This Monday, 2-on-1 handicap match. Now, I thought all day, how am I going to score this? How will this be done? Well, guess what? This handicap match means this. You, El Luchador, have to beat both of their combined scores. Not just one competitor, both of their combined scores. So if they score 20 and your ass only scores 7, guess what? You are not going to be involved at Money in the Bank. Matter of fact, you're barred from the building. So you have to beat both of their combined scores. Not one scores, not tie. You have to beat them. Now that may seem impossible, but guess what, El Luchador? You got about 8 years in the game. You can do this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring on, actually, Hoss is going to bring on your opponents in this 2-on-1 handicap match. Hoss, you do the blessings, baby. Watch out. That is right. Remy Ricks and none other than Hardcore Sis will be teaming up this Monday, 2-on-1 handicap. El Luchador the KC, I know you're going to see this replay. You have to beat both of their combined scores. So again, if they score 20 and you only score 8, you will be banned from Money in the Bank next Saturday, July 2nd. FWC Money in the Bank. That's what your ass get. I'm going to let them talk.
Before y'all go, let me just say one thing. Damn. You
gotta watch running your mouth.
Oh, when he watches this replay, bro, it's going to be bad. Remy, Sis, the floor is yours.
Hey, all I can say, Mr. Luchador D, whatever, bless your heart, because you're going to need it.
I don't even know how to react right now. This is one of the most hilarious things I have heard all week, dude. I'm not even joking right now. And I heard what Night Owl said about it going from PG to rated R. No, sir, I'm going to try and keep it at least PG-13. I have grown a little bit, but this is hilarious, dude. Like, this is literally one of them you have to win situations because you put yourself in this position because you wanted to be Madman Joe's cheerleader. Look what happened. Madman Joe's still in the tag team title contendership. You, Lucha, you get to get smacked around to see if you even get to go to Money in the Bank. Bro, do you know how many title opportunities you're probably missing out on if you can't even make it to Money in the Bank? I'm sorry. That is all I have to say. I'm trying to be as nice as I can right now because I know Renee was watching me go wild in the backstage with Dewan mentioned it.
A little bit. Just a little bit. Well,
sorry.
Listen, guys. Dewan, listen, you've turned into somebody that I'm extremely proud of. I know you were going off and ranting and raving a little bit ago about people disrespecting how you're managing the book, so to speak. Remy, Sis, I got to get your individual thoughts outside of this match about the FWWC this season. We are celebrating year 10. And again, guys, we are about 5 minutes away from the what I call a true legend in the pro wrestling sport, Flash Flanagan. He'll be joining us just a moment. Looking forward to that opportunity to speak with him. But guys, the FWWC has changed significantly from the past. We all know we did about 4 years of the brand battle. It was a great way for us to keep the responsibility separate, but we decided to do something different, and we decided to do something different for you guys, the guys that experience the group, the guys that live the group, breathe it, eat it every single day. I got to get your sincere thoughts. What do you guys think about the new structure? And what would you say to somebody that was like maybe thinking about like, man, you doing this fancy wrestling thing? What's it all about? What do you guys have to say? Please don't make it like a promotional pitch. I'm not looking for that. I'm just looking for sincere thoughts on your guys' thoughts and what you might say to somebody who might be interested. We'll go ahead and let ladies go first.
Well, first, let me just say congratulations on the 400 episode. You know, I am an avid watcher and I'm always here, and this is awesome. So congratulations, Wrestle Talk Podcast, on 400. This is awesome. And I look forward to 500. As for how the group is run, you know, everybody kind of has to pull their weight. Everybody has to show that they're interested, they want what they want, and they're willing to do the work in the group. And I think that this is awesome because in a lot of ways, you have people who just kick back and do nothing, pick and choose what matches they want. And then, you know, if they don't think somebody's worthy of them, then they're not going to meet them. This way, the booker decides who's worthy, who's not worthy. And this way, if you put in the work, you show that you're willing to do it, you will get your opportunities. And I like that. And if somebody was looking to join, I mean, I know I've talked to a couple of people who've asked me about our group and how our group runs and what we think, you know, and I've told them, this is the best fantasy wrestling league out there. This isn't your normal league. This is a group that is not just get out there and compete. We're a family. You know, we are a family. You know, yes, in the ring, we can be bitter enemies, but back behind the scenes, we're family. We care about one another, and we're all awesome. We're all great to be around. So this is a really cool place to be. And
thank you for your contributions too, sis. We know you do a lot on the screen, but also behind the scenes as well. We thank you.
Thank you, sis. Love you. You know I love you.
Baby. Let's keep it going. Rami Ricks, same question for you, man. How's it different? How's it feel? Do you like it? And what would you say to the homie, bro?
Look, man, like sis said, happy 400th episodes, and I'm definitely finna need some of that new merch because I still got my old Wrestle Talk mug that's got my name engraved on it, so I'm definitely gonna need the new stuff too.
Count on it.
But when it comes to the FWWC, like I was telling DeJuan when I first came back, I said, look, dude, the way I've seen it being structured this year compared to the last year or two, it's amazing. Like, the matches aren't all getting lost under one post. Everybody has their own poster to do their stuff on so people can see who's actually working, see who's actually doing what they need to do. And without the brand battle, I feel the booking is better for the simple fact that those who are doing the work are the ones who are actually getting booked and not people just getting booked because a brand has to fill a match slot. No, dude, you actually got to put in work. And that is the best thing that's changed around here. I like it. I like it a lot.
Well, all I can say is this, and I do have one question for DeJuan before we go. Sis, Remy, thank you guys for bringing the energy, for bringing the fire. You guys are how the group continues to grow. We can sit here and talk about it till our faces turn blue, but it's really about the experience of the people that are a part of it. So thank you guys for your contributions. Remy, you look like $1 million, man. Like Perry, bro, what happened to the other 100 pounds of you? You must have got rid of them somewhere. I think you lost them and I found them. That's the problem.
Hey, as long as they didn't go to waste, that's all that matters.
You're damn right. All right, Remy. Well, thanks for being here, brother. We'll talk to you very, very soon. God bless, man, and all the best to you on your matches upcoming Monday. All right, take it easy. Same for you. Just much love. Thank you for all the contributions, and also thank you for always being such a great supporter of the Wrestle Talk podcast. You take care of yourself
all day.
Nothing but love, y'all.
Grace and peace, sis. Adios.
Grace and peace.
Adios. All right, DeJuan, it's just you and me. Listen, there's a part of me that's a little like, what the hell happened to DeJuan? Some of this vigor, some of this aggression that I'm seeing. Bro, maybe it's because you're becoming an old man in this sport. And,
I am. 10 years to do that to you.
Yeah, that's right. You're losing your patience a little bit for some of the nonsense that goes on in the locker room, man. But I'm going to pose the same question to you, bro. This is our baby. This is our brainchild. We're the ones that came up with this system. In reality, we just took a look and turned and looked at the Sam Munchiks of the world, of the Herb Simmons of the world, the Jim and Crystal Yunts of the world, the Vince McMahons of the world, and so on and so forth, all the incredible bookers and storytellers that have existed in the world of pro wrestling. And we said, we're just going to copy that model. We're going to stop trying to rebuild the wheel, and we're just going to go to the essence of professional wrestling. You're respectful in the locker room. You show up when needed. You bring your gear. You work your ass off. You respect your opponents. You do it safely, and you promote so that we can keep growing this beautiful sport. So, again, same questions to you. I'm just giving you a little time to process and think about it. Question number one, what do you think about the new structure? What are the best parts of it to you? And then if somebody was looking at you and going, man, what is this FWWC thing? I heard you guys talking about it before. What would you say to them if they were standing in front of you? Go ahead, my man.
Honestly, my favorite part, is being the booker. I can honestly appreciate those people in the independent wrestling world, professional wrestling world. Booking matches are not easy. Maintaining storylines is not easy. Continuity is not easy because literally everything has to make sense to an extent. You know, sometimes we throw a few matches in there everywhere, but continuing and still uplifting these superstars and doing things that actually make sense helps. So that's my favorite part. Being a booker, having the fact that you guys trust me to do that. If somebody else is interested in this, I tell you, hey, join the page, show up. We have a lot of fans. We have a lot of watchers. Just get with us, man. It's a dope time. It's a great place. The events are amazing. The matches are amazing. You will not be disappointed.
No question about it. And then lastly, Dewan, I just wanted to say this to you. Thank you for being an awesome brother, a friend and partner in this business. And I start with brother first, man, because I know we heard Big Daddy P a little bit earlier. You know, it's everything. Everything's bigger than us, man. We're just down here toiling and doing the best that we can to make this world and leave it a little bit better. You also being a man who's a father, coming off Father's Day, have to understand that everything we do, man, has to build what's to come. It can't just be about what we do. I thank you for 10 years of sacrifice, headaches. Your hairline's looking about as good as mine right now.
Yeah, that's correct.
That's every thing, man. Here's to 10 more, man. Thank you for everything that you do, bro. One more time, hit the people with the information and what they need to know about the upcoming card in the FWWC. Why should they tune in, man? Give it to me in 15 seconds.
FWC tonight, every Thursday at 7:30 p.m. That's where you get all the extra information. We have challenges every Friday. And now that we're going into the Money in Bank, we're going to have challenges Monday and Friday. Just tune into the page, FWC Fantasy Wrestling Worldwide Chapter on Facebook. Check us out. We there, baby. Let's get it.
Let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, one more time, make some noise for the one, the only, the CEO, the originator, the creator, the head administrator, Dewan Mills.
We out here.
Yeah, peace, bro. Man, I wish I could do that as well as you do, Hoss. Your intro of the CEO was absolutely spectacular. Remember to put yourself off mute. I forgot to do that earlier. My bad. Bro, well done. Your intro is absolutely unmatched.
I appreciate it. You know, I have fun with it.
Indeed. All right, let's go ahead and bring the goons back in, baby, because it is time to bring on the featured guest of the evening. I know you guys have been so patient. We're super behind schedule, but guys, at the end of the day, it is episode 400. And as long as this man has the availability and is gracious enough, we're going to give you a full interview with the legend, Flash Flanagan. That is not the intro, though. There is only one man that could do this intro properly, the one and only, the Flywalker, because you did such a good job putting together today's show. I'm going to go ahead and give it up to my man, Sonny Mayo, for that nickname. The Flywalker, Luke Roberts. The floor is yours, sir. Please go ahead and give us one of those world-class intros that you know how to do.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I've been watching the chat all night, and the people have been basically demanding that we have our next guest here on the program, a man who has spent 30 years competing inside the Fame Squared Circle, competing all across the planet when it comes to promotions. He's wrestled in USWA. He's wrestled in IWA in Puerto Rico. He's wrestled in Ring of Honor. He's wrestled in TNA. He's wrestled in the WWE. And I have to say this right now. This is going to be one of those introductions that Renee and several others are going to be happy. The reigning and defending 5-time SICW Classic Wrestling Champion and the man who sent Travis Cook packing from SICW. Ladies and gentlemen of the Wrestle Talk podcast, please welcome your reigning SICW Classic Wrestling Champion, Flash Flanagan. Flash, first of all, on behalf of the Wrestle Talk podcast, we want to welcome you here to the program tonight. I got to ask you, because it's something that's on a lot of people's minds, how does it feel not only to be the brand new SICW Classic Champion, but to have also gotten rid of Travis Cook? It's got to be something that you've got to be very happy about. But I got to ask you straight up front, how does it feel to have gotten rid of Travis Cook from SICW?
Pretty good. You get tired of listening to his mouth.
Thank you, Flash. We appreciate you for that.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of people that for years have wanted Travis Cook to finally ride off into the sunset, and you were able, by winning your championship, to make sure that Travis Cook is no longer at SICW. And I got to say, we've had him on the program. He's always a man of many words, but now I guess you have to say you have silenced Travis Cook in SICW. So I want to go ahead and move forward here. I was doing some research. You've been in pro wrestling now for right at 30 years. Can you tell us what motivated you to make that journey from being a wrestling fan to being an in-ring competitor?
I started watching it, and that was about basically once I went to my first live show, I knew right. Oops. Sorry about that. Once I went to my first live show, I was hooked. I was like, that's what I'm going to do. And then it just motivated me more and more when everyone's sitting there and like, you can't do that. You can't do that. And I was like, you wait and see. And finally there it was.
Well, Flash, I got to tell you right now, the fans pretty much all night long have been clamoring. We got fans like Larry Wolf, among others, that have been basically begging us for the opportunity to share our comments with you here this evening. But I do want to go ahead and take some time from when you trained to your first real major home, I guess you would say, and that was USWA. Now, I know
Actually, I was in Smoky Mountain Wrestling before I was in USWA.
That is true. That is true. Can you give us just a minute here to talk about first what was going on with Smoky Mountain, and then in turn talk about USWA? Because the only thing I really remember, and I've been a fan for a long time, was remembering right at the beginning when the world-class era ended and it became USWA. Can you tell us a little bit about Smoky Mountain and then in turn USWA as well?
Smoky Mountain, we were running shows up here in Indianapolis every Thursday night, and we were bringing Ricky Morton and Tracy Smothers in. And Ricky and Tracy, they liked my work, and they would always talk to Cornette about me. And the Super Bowl, Cornette was running that Super Bowl wrestling show, and I'm not for sure, but I think the Steiners were supposed to be there, but something had happened, and then we were like a last minute, me and Chris Michaels, to work with the Headbangers. And I wrestled the Headbangers and for Burt Prentice there in his Ozark Mountain Wrestling, so I knew who they were, and they knew who I was. Then I had Ricky and Tracy pulling for me, and Cornette calls me up. He was like it might have been a Monday or Tuesday, and he's like, I know it's short notice, but could you make the show? I'm like, yeah, I can make it. And I got in there, and Cornette liked me, but he didn't have a spot yet. So then I was that was in like August of 90, maybe in 95, 94, 95. I can't remember which one it was. But then he'd bring me in occasionally on some spot shows, and then he brought me in full time in November, and then they closed up at the end of November.
Oh, well, I mean, again, having the opportunity to learn and be a part of Smoky Mountain Wrestling, I mean, again, that's something for all of the hosts that are here tonight, as well as our viewers. That is a promotion that really kind of set a standard when it came to professional wrestling. And then you make your journey, if I'm not mistaken, to USWA. And I was looking back at the references, multi-time champion with Stephen Dahl, Billy Joe Travis, and a name that a lot of our viewers would be familiar with, that being Nick Dinsmore. Can you tell us how your professional journey changed going from the style of the Smoky Mountain Wrestling to the USWA?
I really never changed my style. I stayed the same. I always have. And my whole thing was I'd go out there every night. It didn't matter how many people were in the crowd. I was going out there to tear the house down. And to me, it was like, I know there's certain things you're not supposed to do, but I figured if I went out there and busted my butt each night, people after me are going to have to work even harder. It's like, hey, you got to follow that. And that's the way I've always looked at things. But
you know, Flash, when you talk about that, that's one thing that a lot of wrestlers don't really have an understanding of, is the idea of where everything goes from the opening match to the main event, and you're setting that bar saying, okay, follow that. And that's one of those things, like I said, that shows your dedication and your heart to what you do and what you love, that being in a competitor inside the squared circle. Now, at this point, I'm going to go ahead and throw things over to my broadcast colleague, the Night Owl. I know he's got a couple questions he'd like to ask you this evening. Night Owl, you got to turn your microphone on.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much for the reminder there. So let me start off by saying that it's an honor to have you on, and I think this probably should have happened a long time ago. Don't know how or why, but I know as far as like when I'm doing my research and I'm reading and I'm learning and I'm sitting under the learning tree, there's a couple of guys that have made a major influence here in the Midwest that maybe not every single wrestling fan would know. I'll give you an example. Like here in Kansas City, we have Jeremy Wyatt. He is a legend within our territory. And I know that word is maybe taboo these days. I think you're very much the same as a Midwestern-based professional wrestler. Anybody who knows the history of this area eventually will come across that history book and they'll come across the name of Flash Flanagan. So thank you for being here. And again, I apologize for it taking us this long to jump on the boat and bring you on the show. But hey, at least it's episode 400 and we brought you on. It's our WrestleMania. So that should mean something, right?
It's an easy number to remember.
It is, baby. Episode 400. You're damn right about that. But, you know, I think of all the different questions that I could ask you, and there's really only two that jump up right to the very top. And I'm going to kind of throw them both at you at the same time. I know you're a guy that knows how to improvise. I know you're a guy that kind of knows how to call it in the ring, so to speak. So here goes. Number one, talk to us about those scars on your forehead and what they mean. Because guys that have that always have a story to tell. And number two, completely kind of unrelated, but maybe completely related, Herb Simmons being brought into the fold over at the CAC, something that I think all of us are absolutely incredibly proud of. How would you, somebody that's worked alongside and for him for so long, feel about something like that? Two completely contrasted questions, but I'm going to throw them at you at the same time and see how you deal with it. Flash, what do you think?
All right. You want to know about the scars?
Let's go.
Those are beauty marks.
Good answer. Good answer.
Great answer.
That's great.
No, I remember one night. I can't remember where we were in Puerto Rico, but I remember going to the post, and it was the legit thing. It was Hardway, and it was like I went into the post and I didn't get it, and I went into it again and didn't get it, and then that third time it was almost like hamburger meat, where I was beating my head in the post. It was like I was just. And there's a bunch of other instances, but I got to protect the business a little bit.
Right. Well, let me, before you answer the Herb Simmons question, let me just say this. Like, when you're talking to people that don't get it, because we all get it. We all love this. We all respect this. Otherwise, we wouldn't have someone like you on the show for episode 400. I hope you know that to us, you earn a great deal of respect from us, because we could say all we want about the world of professional wrestling, but Rodell, Luke Skywalker Roberts, the Maestro, myself, and everybody else involved in the show have never walked in your boots. You've been doing this for a long time, and we may have dabbled here and there years ago, but you chose to do this literally the hard way. So I want you to know that whether it be as a media member or as a fan or as a colleague in the business, we respect you for that, man. And that's why guys such as yourself earn those stripes and are able to be seen in this light, because you guys have literally given your bodies for this business. So I want you to know that when I ask you about something like that, I'm not just trying to be funny. It's kind of at a point of curiosity, because I hope that you wear that with a certain level of pride. You earn those marks, my friend. Just like we earn our wrinkles, you definitely earn those marks. And you get all respect for that.
I got one of the sides over here. I got an arrow. Is I had the chair and the chair got drop kicked in me, but he kicked the chair so hard it spun sideways and came back hit me in the head, and just went back and just sliced it. But I have an arrow. It's whenever I get done shaving my head, it's clear as day. You can sit there and look at it like, wow.
An arrow on the side of your head.
It's on. I can't remember which side it is, but it's on one of these sides.
Well, guys, if you want to see the arrow, SICW, you know where to find it. And then, of course, my second question, man, Herb Simmons getting this opportunity to be a representative. I don't know if it's a chairperson or what the title specifically is. I don't want to butcher it. Obviously justified. How does somebody like you in your position feel about that appointment?
No, it's great. I mean, and it's the one thing that I still haven't done yet. I've talked to Brian Blair and I can't remember the other guy's name, but I haven't joined Cauliflower Alley Club yet.
Oh, let's
And
go.
I know.
Skywalker and yours truly are going this year. It's like $25. Let's go. Let's meet down there.
I haven't got a membership yet.
It's $20. We'll sponsor you. Come on, Flash. Come on, man. If anybody needs to go to a reunion, it's freaking Flash Flanagan. Skywalker, am I out of line here? I mean, come on.
I'm in the Cauliflower Alley Club.
Yeah, you know, dude.
That's one of the things that's good about our program is the idea of where not only do we know what's going on in the local levels, but we also respect those that have come before us in this industry, because there are a lot of people, when you talk about the Cauliflower Alley Club, you talk about people like the Herb Simmonses, like the Ron Hutches, like the B. Brian Blairs, like the Vance Nevadas, people who, much like Flash, have given of basically their lives, their bodies of work is inside the squared circle. And I got to tell you, Flash, you would definitely fit into a lot of the things that go on as a part of the Cauliflower Alley Club reunions. And I can say, I agree with the Night Owl. I would absolutely love the opportunity to see you in Vegas competing against some of the most recognizable faces of both yesteryear and today.
I'd love to, but I said for right now, for some reason, it was maybe 2 years ago. I talked to Blair. I just haven't filled out the paperwork and all the other stuff.
It, bro. You deserve it.
Well, I appreciate it.
Absolutely, Maestro. It's on you, baby. What do you got for the legend, Flash Flanagan?
Oh man, Flash, how you doing this evening?
Not too bad. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. So, yeah, first off, definitely go for the Cauliflower Alley Club when you get a chance. I really treat it as a badge of honor being a part of it. Like when I got the paperwork and everything in the mail. But that is neither here nor there. So my first question, we've talked about, Luke had introduced and said that your career has practically spanned about 30 years now. And one of those stops was actually in IWA Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
And you were a multiple-time champion. I mean, you were an IWA World Heavyweight Champion, Intercontinental Champ, and you were a 4-time Tag Team Champ, if I remember correctly, with Miguel Perez and Chicano.
And Abyss.
Okay, I knew there was another one. So what was it like out in IWA? Just being able to compete out there.
It's just, the style of wrestling was completely different than it is here in the States. They want the blood and guts, and they like violence. So, you go from entertaining the families to go down there and bringing violence. So, it's something I enjoyed.
I was going to say, because I believe you also were a big-time hardcore wrestler down there, about a 5-time hardcore champion. So, was it basically a no-holds-barred type of environment?
Basically, I got stuck in that, yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, because the first year I was there, I was out there wrestling and everything. And then we did a thing where I got thrown off the balcony. Then from that moment on, it should have paralyzed me or killed me. But I was lucky. And one of those things, like, everything clicked that night. And I thank the Lord above, man. I didn't get hurt seriously. All I got was a concussion out of it. And I remember one guy, he wanted to do it. I go, man, you don't know how lucky I was. And he's like, I'm going to do it anyways. And he got up there and he got thrown off the balcony. And as soon as I looked out the curtain, all I seen was a body fall in front of me. And he broke his leg.
Oh.
Ouch.
Oh, my God.
Try to warn you.
Right. They talk about, you're especially in certain moments such as that, your life flashing before your eyes. Have you had a multitude of those moments whether it be in the ring or even just backstage, like in preparation for a match?
Well, let's see. I was born with my umbilical cord wrapped around my throat. And then I was probably about maybe 3, and I almost drowned. My grandpa saved me. And then the balcony thing, I was probably another time. So I've had a few close calls.
Well, I can speak for everyone here when I say we are definitely beyond blessed that you are still with us and kicking ass all these years later.
I appreciate it.
My pleasure. And I got one more question before I pass it to whichever one of the fine gentlemen below me on the screen want to take the reins next. So tell us about Slash Venom.
Slash.
Yep.
When I went to Puerto Rico, it was one of those, Flash was too much of a baby face. So they was like, you mind if we change your name? I'm like, whatever you want. I just gotten released from WWE, and then I went to TNA, and I was Cobain. And TNA would have been cool, but the very first day I was there, Vince Russo, he's like, and they didn't tell me anything. All I knew was I was on a team with Wolfie, and we were going to do the Disciples of the New Church. So I get all I was told was dye my hair black. And I get there, and Vince Russo was like, so what kind of gear do you have? I'm like, well, I brought my wrestling gear. And he's like, well, he goes, what would Kurt Cobain wear? I'm like, man, I don't know. So they go, well, go get some jeans and a t-shirt and dirty it up. I'm like, man. And as soon as I went through the curtain, the crowd starts chanting Nashville Brawler. And I knew at that moment I was done.
Ouch.
Oh,
like,
no.
I'm buried right off the bat. So then the next week I changed it up a little bit. And then the next 3 shows I wasn't booked on, but I'm going to keep driving to Nashville and not know if I'm booked. That's a 5-hour trip for me, 10 hours round trip. So I was like, no. And I was talking to Cornette, and then I knew Victor Quinones, and then I knew Dutch. Then I knew Savio and Miguel Perez and all those guys from when I was doing WWE shows. And then Luke Williams, the Bushwhacker, he called me up and was like, he said they want to bring me in. And I get down there, and that's when they said, you mind if we change your name? Like, you can call me whatever you want, as long as I got a paycheck each week.
Hell yeah.
There you go.
I'd rather get in the ring and do that than work a job 9 to 5.
All day long. Rodell, I know you're next. I did want to just very, very quickly. So you mentioned TNA, you mentioned WWE. I don't know if you watched this, Flash, but AJ Styles appeared on TNA's 20th anniversary with a very short little video, tipping his cap, paying respects. You were with them back in 90s, early 2000s or whatever. Is that something you'd ever thought you'd see? Where they would let their guys do something like that? Because it feels new, at least to us. It feels like they're kind of letting their guard down maybe a little bit and allowing their guys to kind of, have their own podcast or what have you. But the thing with AJ showing up on Impact, I thought was big. I'm just curious on your thoughts on that before.
They did that. Well, they did that a while back with, I think, Christian. Let's see.
I think it was with Christian, and they were going to put Ric Flair was under contract with TNA, and they were going to put him in the Hall of Fame with the Four Horsemen.
Right. It was like a trade.
It was like a trade off. So Christian showed up at, I want to say, Slammiversary. So, and in return, Flair could go in the Hall of Fame as a Horseman.
Fair enough. Well, it felt new to me. Sorry, fellas. Go ahead, Rodell.
So Flash, thanks for coming on. Hope you're well. Thanks you once. I want to say also thank you for sending Travis Cook to the dumpster pile.
I second that.
How did it? How did it feel when you hit him with like your kendo stick or a chair or whatever you hit him with? Just how did it feel? Did years of anger come out?
Oh, my wife's the one that hit him with the kendo stick.
Oh, your wife? Oh, that's even better.
Yes.
And I told her, I go, make sure you hit him as hard as you can. So
he's got that bald head, just like he's got that perfect target area there for you.
I can't say much about bald heads.
Right? Yes. I do want to talk a little bit about your time at Ohio Valley Wrestling. How did that come about?
I'd worked for Danny Davis. I mean, I met him in I think '93, and he'd always tell me this is before he even had Ohio Valley Wrestling. I was doing shows for him when he had his Nightmare Danny Davis School of Wrestling, and so I was doing shows for him on Sundays, anyways. And then I was doing he was running like Bedford, Kentucky. He had like 3 other shows he was doing, so I was always busy with him. And then I ended up leaving, and then I came back, and then he goes, "You came back at the right time," because that's when he said he was telling me about OVW getting started with bringing Cornette in, and then that's when they had that's when they started doing the developmental, and it went from there. And the whole thing was Cornette was trying to get me a deal, get me signed. So that was when I was going out there talking about. I was working with. First, I started with Rico Constantino, and I basically just burying WWE and saying that they only hire green guys and all this other stuff. Like, why am I getting overlooked? And then I worked with Orton when he was starting out. And I think that's kind of what got their attention. Because, I mean, Randy was green. He was just starting out. But I got all the guys, like, when they were just starting out, I was getting stuck with them. And they had good, I was doing good stuff with them. So then I really don't know what happened after that. They always be like, I don't know why they fired you. And I mean, at the time, everyone, when you got guys that are 6'4", 300 pounds, you look at Brock, he's a monster. And they're going to make money with him. Batista, you got all these guys that are huge. And at the time, I was like maybe 205, 210. So I'm the small guy on the totem pole. Now I'm the big guy on the totem pole. It's like, it just time, right place, wrong time.
Right. Because if you were probably in developmental now, you probably have a pretty good look that they're kind of looking for. So,
I wasn't big enough for them at the time.
Right. Yeah. So let's bring it back local. Let's talk a little bit about what is it like going in. What is your mind? What kind of a mindset do you have to go into to have a match against a monster like Attila Khan? Because you're going into it, you're going to be hurting the next day.
I'm hurting before I even get into it. I remember when I was starting out, they'd always tell me, "Man, it was all the high flying around you're doing, you're going to pay for it eventually." And it seemed like when I hit 40, that's when it just like boom, I started feeling my neck, my shoulders, my knees, ankles. And then when you're going out there and doing all the crazy stuff, the next day you're gonna be feeling it. It's not so bad when you're out there and the crowd's cheering and everything. You get your adrenaline going, but after that, it's like once you calm down, it's like, God, what was I thinking?
Oh man. Well, Flash, I'm going to go ahead and jump in here real quick. As we can see here on the screen, you had to compete against both Attila Khan and Travis Cook to get Travis Cook out of SICW. Then on July 9th, you're going to have an opportunity, East Crown Gillette, to defend the championship against Attila Khan. Now, you've had a lot of great contests inside the squared circle. And you already talked about how you're going to feel it for the next couple of days. Is there any kind, and again, this is kind of bending things a little bit, any kind of strategy that you could have going into a match with Attila Khan?
Hit him before he hits you.
Oh, well, like I said, I mean, again, it's going to be one of those that definitely is going to be a very tough match. Now, I do have to ask guys, going back and doing research here, being in the St. Louis area and knowing that you are a 5-time SICW Classic champion, one of the names that I came across, actually 2 of them, are 2 names that are very well known here in the St. Louis area. The first one is Gary Jackson. What can you tell me about your battles inside the squared circle as well as being in a locker room with Gary Jackson?
I told Gary last time, it's amazing. I remember watching, I hate saying this, I remember watching Gary as a kid.
Talk about dating yourself.
And the thing about Gary is he looks the same then as he does now, basically.
And he's good.
Okay, you know what they say about that, right? You guys know black don't crack. You know yeah, my man.
I mean, he looks the same whenever whenever I was in the business before as a referee, he looks the same as he does now, and I just like, how does he do it? He doesn't look like he's aged any.
And he gets in the ring, and you would never know. I mean, I give him all the props in the world to stay as healthy as he has all these years, and kudos to him.
And okay, now the second name that I brought up is one that a lot of people may not know that you've had a battle or two in the ring with. That was former NWA World Heavyweight Champion, the Tokyo Monster Kahagas. Can you give us any bit of insight as to stepping in a ring with a man who's had as many accolades, I would say, as you have over the course of his career in SICW?
There's another one that was always – there's another rough night. He's good. You can see why he's the NWA champion, or was the NWA champion.
Mm-hmm. And I got to tell you, I've had the opportunity not only to watch you compete inside the ring, but I've had the opportunity to be inside the ring as well as outside the ring as an announcer with Kahagas. And I got to tell you, that would be a matchup watching beginning to end. I would sit there and I'd be like and again, this may date me as well, but I'd be one of those who would put it on, rewind it so many times the VCR tape would break or it would freeze on my DVD player, because that had to have been a 5-star classic. Now, another one, this is going to take kind of an immediate right-hand turn here. I've got to ask you. I've noticed in several times you've come to the ring, I know you always have your trusty kendo stick by your side. I got to ask you, is there any semblance behind the different colors of kendo sticks that you brought to the ring in the course of your career?
No.
Great question.
No, it was just one of those. I remember when we did a thing where I ended up getting the stick. This is when this all started in Puerto Rico, because I never wanted to carry the kendo stick out to the ring because I didn't want to be referred to as Sandman or anything like that. So that's why I started painting them and just give it something different. And then it just something that stuck that people they got with it. And
well, I got to tell you right now, Flash, it's one of those things when I've had the opportunity to see a lot of footage in SICW. I've known Herb for a number of years, and I've known Dr. Drew, the voice of SICW, for a number of years as well. And anytime you get in the ring, and I mean, again, I've looked at some of the names you've competed against, guys like Superstar Steve Fender, like the Iron Man Ken Casa, like Jake Durden, Gary Jackson, Kahagas. I mean, I could go on. You have pretty much faced a who's who in SICW. Now, I know I'm kind of jumping ahead a little bit. I mean, again, you've got a war coming up on July 9th against Attila Khan. Is there somebody right now in SICW that you haven't faced that you think deserves to get an opportunity at that Classic Championship?
Someone that I haven't faced.
I mean, you got to talk about wrestlers like Kowalski, Bobby D just winning the Central States Championship.
What about Rafael Diablo? I know he's young, but why not? What better for a guy like El Diablo to step in the ring with a guy like Flash Flanagan?
What about Curtis Wild?
Oh, it's another one.
Danny Dollar.
Danny Dollar. There's someone I've never wrestled. That would be a good one, I think.
Okay. And I'm going to go ahead and do one more. And I'm going to throw it back to my colleagues here. Over the course of the past few months, I know there's been a lot of things that have been kind of making some news in SICW. Again, the biggest news is you becoming the Classic Champion once again. But what would you say has been the biggest surprise in 2022 in SICW?
The biggest surprise. Getting rid of Travis Cook.
And again, we applaud you for that, sir.
I would say that's probably the biggest surprise.
He can do his radio show all he wants, man. Get that out of there.
All right, well, gentlemen, I'm going to go ahead and throw things back to you. Like I said, we've got Flash Flanagan right here on the Wrestle Talk podcast. And again, while we're taking care of that, I did want to answer Renee's question earlier. Herb Simmons being named the CAC Ambassador and Communicator. He was just appointed that title. I want to say a shout out to him as well as a couple others. Again, very well deserved. Renee, Chris, I'm going to go ahead and throw things over to you.
Rodell?
If you have one dream, if you could wrestle one person, past or present, in a dream match, who would it be?
Oh man. Either Roddy Piper or Randy Savage.
Ooh. Would you be okay? So if you fought Piper, would you be the baby or the heel?
The baby.
Yeah, because you can't go heel on Piper. That's
No,
a good question.
Piper was great as a heel.
And he was a sweetheart of a guy. You guys remember Legends House? What a sweet dude, man. Just seemed like such a good soul. Well, I'm gonna jump in here with a question. I think this will mean something to you, Flash. Trevor Murdoch doing what he's doing right now with the NWA, man. What does that make you feel? Does it motivate you? Does it inspire you? Make you proud? I mean, he's from the same neck of the woods that you are. You know, kind of that same deal. How do you feel about a guy like Trevor doing what he's doing over at the NWA?
How come he doesn't give me a title shot?
Damn right. He gave Attila Khan a title shot. Hey, we need to start a petition or something, Skywalker.
I think that could be arranged. I really do. I mean, that would be a very intriguing matchup of Trevor Murdoch and Flash Flanagan. That would be very intriguing to me. It really would be.
And I've only had one NWA title shot. I wrestled Adam Pearce, but
wow.
I wrestled at plenty of other former champions like Rob Conway and Kagas, but no one will give me a title shot.
You see Flash Flanagan licking his lips over there, bro. I love to hear that. And then my follow-up question has nothing to do with wrestling. I'm sure every time somebody interviews you, it's all wrestling all the time. Okay, so we just came back from Universal Studios. We did the whole Universal to Islands of Adventure. We took the Harry Potter train and did the whole Harry Potter world thing. Still by far the coolest thing that we did. While we were there in Disney.
Stop.
No, hold on, hear me out. Still by far the coolest thing that we did that whole weekend was the Star Wars stuff. And now I'm looking behind you and I see lightsabers galore. Okay. And so I got to ask this question as a guy that's just now getting into Star Wars. I know I'm late to the party. Please don't kill me, guys. Bro, talk to us about that collection back there. What's your favorite? I mean, dude, that's pretty incredible. Like, I'm gonna call that a humble brag. You're literally sitting in front of all this incredible merchandise, and we're not gonna touch on the elephant in the room? No, I don't think so. So, bro, talk to us a little bit about your collection. That's pretty freaking sick.
Man, yeah, you wouldn't believe it. You wouldn't believe it. I got life-size Boba Fett over here, the Han and Carbonite, R2-D2. I got a
Can you
fortune.
turn the camera a little bit? Can we see?
Well, it's kind of a mess down here.
Don't worry about it, man. Come on, man. It's not dirty. It's messy. It's different.
Hold on a second here.
Yo, we're getting another tour. Let's go.
There's Yoda.
Oh, do you have a life-size Yoda?
Hold on a second here. There's my Boba Fett.
Oh my God. How tall is that thing?
On the base and everything, it's probably about 6'6", 6'5".
Dude, your wife must be awesome. Wow.
Let's see. There's Anakin. There's Vader.
Wow.
A little dusty.
Don't worry about that, man. It makes it vintage when it's dusty. Don't worry about it.
Oh my gosh.
Wow.
That's just some of it. I mean,
Renee is geeking out right now.
Dude,
No, I'm
not even
geeking out.
really a Star Wars guy, bro. That's incredible, though.
I'm a Star Wars guy. Oh my god.
Wow, I'm just getting into it. I gotta be honest.
Can't.
I'm on episode 1, 2,
Marking
3,
out right now.
So 6. I'm watching episode 6 right now. But Flash, I know that you're known for what you do inside the Squirt Circle, but you know there's a person behind that always, and I always think it's cool to just show a little bit. My son is like harassing me for a lightsaber right now. They're going about $225, the real nice ones, at least from my perspective, the real nice ones.
Yeah.
So I figured I'd ask her about your collection so I can brag to my son about it. So thank you for sharing. Thank
No
you
problem.
for sharing. Maestro, did you have anything else for Flash Flanagan, man, as we look to start closing out tonight's episode?
Well, shoot, I mean, the collections of it and of itself is a whole different interview, but
like I said, it's if you've seen it, if you walked down into my basement and seen this collection, you'd be like, "Oh my god!"
Okay.
I remember Bushwhacker Luke was doing a show here in Indianapolis, and he came over to my house, and he had heard about this. Because he knew I collected stuff when I was in Puerto Rico. I was getting stuff, and he walked down. He's seen it. And he's like, "You're a mark." I was like, "I told you. I've been collecting this stuff for a long time."
Yeah. Okay. So here's the one then. With the collection, I got one collection-based question. Rarest Star Wars item in your collection?
What now? The rarest item.
Rarest
The
item.
rarest,
Yeah.
yeah, the rarest Star Wars item that you have in your collection.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, the life-size figures are hard to get.
They are.
And
those are wild.
They're not cheap.
It's a lot of Puerto Rico blood matches to get those things.
Yeah.
That's right. And another note, don't let people convince you that there's no money in wrestling, ladies and gentlemen. I'm just going to go ahead and say that.
Absolutely.
I'm just kidding.
Well, Flash, I've got one question that was brought up here. Actually, or two of them. One, Jeffrey Wilson, Jay Hollywood had a question of thoughts on the Mandalorian and the new Obi-Wan series. And then there's a second question that I have to share with you to kind of round out our interview. What are your thoughts about those two series?
I love them. I can't wait till about, I don't know, I think 3 o'clock in the morning. the finale of Obi-Wan comes out.
Wow, like I said, that's dedication. I totally understand. I mean, I got lots of wrestling, but I just got this a couple weeks ago. Myself, a friend found it at a flea market. It's almost like a garden gnome Chewbacca. So, like I said, I definitely enjoy that. But now, the other question we have, and hopefully Haas can bring this one up on the screen. One of our viewers, Jay Hollywood, brought up, if you had a Mount Rushmore of professional wrestling, who would be on it?
Like I said, I was a Randy Savage fan, Roddy Piper's. Oh, man. I like my favorites.
Mm-hmm.
I like the Road Warriors. I mean, I don't know, because I liked all of them because that's what I wanted to do. I was like, that's one thing. I coming here working for Herb, and like I was a big Roddy Piper fan, so Bob Orton was right there along with it, and it's like, man, I couldn't name four. There were so many guys.
Too tough. I can respect that. Well, Skywalker, Maestro, DJ Big Sexy, as hard as it is for me to say this, we're going to have to start closing up shop here tonight, guys.
I got one more thing. Hang on. I know. I'm sorry.
No. Don't worry. You'll get your opportunity. We're nearing the third hour. And I do have to get Flash's opinion on one thing. We did this with Jeremy Lightfoot. Of course, Maestro, you'll be able to jump in and do your thing. But we believe in evolution, and we believe in continuing to demonstrate our passion by always looking to improve. You look like one of those guys to me, Flash, a guy that's never rested on his laurels, a guy that believes that you're always learning something in the sport of pro wrestling. So like you, we're always looking to get better. We introduced our new logo a little bit earlier in today's show. We asked Jeremy Lightfoot the exact same question. Sir, just if you could give us your opinion on the brand new Wrestle Talk podcast logo. We worked very, very hard on it. Shout out to Little Popeye Designs for putting that together for us. He did an absolutely incredible job. Flash Flanagan, 1 out of 5 super kicks. What do you rate the brand new Wrestle Talk podcast logo?
As in 5 being good?
Yes, sir.
I give you a 5. I like the T. Looks like the Boba Fett helmet.
It does indeed, man. Oh, look at that. We're getting feedback from Jay Hollywood as well. He seems to be liking it. All right. Well, I had to get your opinion because I've been told many, many times Flash Flanagan's the guy that's going to give it to you straight, and I knew we'd get a sincere answer from you. That said, Maestro, I know you had at least one more question, man. Jump back in here. What do you got for us, brother?
Okay, so the last thing I got, and I do want to say it has been an absolute pleasure having you on, Flash. Do you have, and I hope you do, it's one more Star Wars thing, the despecialized and extended edition of the original trilogy? I had to bring this up. I got this at a fair from a guy that actually worked with someone at Lucasfilm. And I hope one day you definitely can get your hands on these. This is the one. This is as close to the original.
Bring it closer, Maestro. Bring it a little bit closer.
So, like, here's one of them. Here's the original Star Wars.
Closer to the screen.
Example.
There you go.
Okay. That's despecialized and extended director's cut. Like, instead of the new CGI where it has like a CGI Jabba the Hutt. Yeah,
So-
it has the original guy that was in the costume, like on this.
Wait, so you're saying the one I'm watching on Disney Plus isn't what originally came out? Is that what you're saying?
That is exactly what I'm saying. These 3 copies, this like
didn't
the
know
other
that.
ones, is as original as you can get as a release. Like
Well-
without sneaking into George Lucas's house and
Well,
probably.
Java
sneaking
was
in.
originally a big guy.
Yep, you're absolutely right. And most people don't know that until they tune into the Wrestle Talk podcast, episode 400. See? Teamwork makes
Maestro,
the
you're the
dream
man,
work.
bro. Full circle, baby.
I had to. So, but Flash, thank you so much for being on. It has been an absolute honor having you on this evening. This whole show has just been so much fun.
Well, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Road Dog, we wouldn't be we'd be doing ourselves a disservice if we didn't have you come back on here with any final thoughts or questions for Flash Flanagan, man. What do you got?
I don't have anything else to ask Flash. I just thank you for coming on and celebrating our episode 400 with us and showing us your cool collection of Star Wars stuff. So
I was just a sample. There's a there's a whole lot more.
Yeah, this show went from wrestling nerd to Star Wars nerd like real quick, and Flash, somebody hit the hyperspeed on us. Well, Flash, all I can say, man, is I apologize to you personally for it taking so long for us to facilitate this interview. I feel like everybody within our, let's just say, Midwest pro wrestling community knows who you are, knows what you've done for the business, and I'm glad that we got the opportunity to kind of put you on our platform and make sure people absolutely know that and remember it, man. Thank you for being such a gracious guest, and thank you for being here.
No problem. Just remember, July 9th, East Carndelette.
Let's go. What are you going to do to Attilicon one more time? Can you remind them?
Blood and guts.
Blood and guts, baby. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for the one, the only Flash Flanagan. Let's go. Make some noise, guys.
Thanks,
By
Flash.
the way, September, you want to ride with me and Luke Skywalker Roberts, man? We'll figure things out. We'll go out to Cauliflower Alley Club, man. You got it, all right?
All right.
Take it easy, Flash. See ya.
All right, you take care.
Thank
See
you,
you, Flash.
Wow. Maestro, what do you think about that, man?
Oh my gosh. I'm like, you know how you were saying like you were on cloud 9 earlier?
Yeah,
I'm on.
that was incredible.
I'm
Tell
on
me, dude.
cloud in a galaxy far, far away right now.
13,000. That was cool, dude. Oh, look at that. Come on, dude. Come on, man. It don't get no better than that. Skywalker, he had a big part in the last 150 plus episodes of everything that's gone on here in the Wrestle Talk podcast. And it almost looks like it's apropos here because we got about 3 minutes left. Talk to us about the last 100. Talk to us about tonight's episode and everything that's gone into your contributions to this brand, to this podcast, to this brotherhood that we know as the Wrestle Talk podcast family, man. What do you got?
Well, Renee, I got to tell you right now, first of all, like I said earlier at the beginning of the show, having the opportunity to see this program from the late Rick Rose, Nightmare Jones, Joe Lance, and yourself, and watching this program develop. We talked about it right before you came on the program, the idea of we've pretty close to hit every professional wrestling promotions in every state in the country. If you would have told me 200 episodes ago that we could say that we've covered pretty much every state in the country, and I believe now we're up to 5 different countries that have been a part of the Wrestle Talk podcast.
Yes, sir.
I would be amazed at how far that went. And guys, it's only going from there. I mean, we've had the opportunity to be at NatsuCon. We've had the opportunity to be at Celeb Fest. I know that Renee and I are going to be out at Cauliflower Alley Club later on in September. I got to tell you right now, the biggest thing is I have to say thank you to several people. One, I need to say a big thank you to the viewers of the Wrestle Talk podcast for sharing our our wrestling interviews and all the information we share each and every week. I want to say thank you for sharing that information. I want to say thank you to all the great sponsors that we've had, both past and present. Without the sponsors, we don't do what we love to do each and every week. Number 3, I want to say thank you to all the wrestlers that have come on the program. I mean, again, they're always busy. They're training. They're working hard, both men and women, to be the best wrestlers they can be. And one that a lot of people are going to be surprised I mentioned is the families, the people you don't see behind the scenes. I know, and you mentioned it countless times before, Renee, you take time each and every week to make sure that this podcast goes well, but you also have time with your family, just like Rodell, just like Jeremy, just like Haas, just like Adam Frex, just like.
Speaking of which, round of applause to Chris Rodell and Hardcore Haas for going the whole 3 hours tonight, stepping up, doing big things, man. We love you guys.
And I'm not even at 100% tonight. I'm not even at 100%.
Calm down now.
Okay, I was gonna say we're giving you props and don't.
This is a compliment.
But no, as I was saying though, guys, I mean, again, it's crazy as it sounds. Tonight was probably one of the best episodes I've had the opportunity to be a part of. And you know something, guys? We kind of joke, but we're all, in all seriousness, thanking for episode 400. But you know, guys, we keep working. We're going to be soon enough, and I can't believe I'm going to say this, 500.
Let's
500 club, baby.
Yeah, we're going to be there. And again, guys, being here since episode 42, that means 358 episodes of the Wrestle Talk podcast that we've been a part of this. And guys, I got to say thank you to everybody who makes this go each and every week. And Renee, before we go, I think we definitely need to give our sponsors one more big shout out, because without them and the viewers and the wrestlers and the families, none of this takes place. Royal Mills Production.
No. Stop that right there. This guy showed up the latest. So he's doing the sponsors tonight. Maestro, it's on you, Daddy. Give it to us.
All right, let me tell you something, folks. We got so many sponsors here. We got Everything Combat. We got Kincaid Arcade at the Oak Park Mall. We got Me Fiesta KC. We got Interstate 70 Sports Media. I want to give a big shout out to Adam, to James, to Andy, to everybody that takes part, to Eileen, to everybody that takes part in Interstate 70 Sports Media. We have the one, the only, the FWWC, the world's premier fantasy wrestling group. And I know that they're not. We have Painter Stream Productions, we have Royal Mills Transportation, and yeah, obviously they got to go first, but you know, and Rathbuns Engraving, which I'm not gonna lie, after all these years, that is the first time I've seen how it's spelled. No, I'm just kidding. Wrestle Talk Podcast mugs are just $20,
guys.
And Nobleman's Barber Lounge. Now, you gotta ask for Pete the Barber. I'm telling you, he knows how to get the job done. That's why Renee doesn't have much hair, because he does such a good job.
He does.
So,
that's right. And last but not least, man, got to give it up to Kincaid, host of the Wrestle Talk podcast watch parties. Great job, Maestro. I figured I'd throw you into the lion's den at the very last moment, bro, because that's what we do, bro. We keep each other on our toes here on the Wrestle Talk podcast. You guys weren't expecting Kenny Casanova. You guys weren't expecting the reveal of the new logo. We were not expecting to have over a dozen people basically watching the show from start to finish. Wow, incredible. I know we're going to have an incredible amount of viewers on the replay as well, like we do every single week. For those of you guys that have been here watching us from the beginning to the very end, I can't thank you enough. Again, go ahead and start placing your orders, guys. $20 for the cup with the Wrestle Talk podcast logo. If you want to have your name added to it, that's an additional $5. And then we're going to go ahead and have you cover the shipping costs as well. So you can have your very own Wrestle Talk podcast flask, well, I should say, tumbler, for about $35 or so, as long as you live in the United States. And it lasts a whole lot longer than a stinking freaking t-shirt. Thank you again to our newest sponsor, Little Popeye Designs, a local artist, a local entrepreneur here based out of the Midwest. And so if you love supporting local, you're absolutely doing that when you purchase either the mug from Rathbun Engraving or the tumbler from Little Popeye Designs, man. Thank you, Jeremy. Thank you, Luke Roberts. Rodell, did you have anything you wanted to say as far as your last 100+ episodes or so being a part of the Wrestle Talk podcast?
I mean, I'm kind of newer to being a permanent host of the Wrestle Talk podcast, which I appreciate you guys giving me the opportunity to do this once a month, sometimes twice a month. Who knows? You'll see me here more. And I thank the viewers, the wrestlers, everyone that tunes in, just the sponsors, everybody. Thank you. We'll do this again next week.
It's all love, all respect. I have one last question for each of you guys, and then we'll go ahead and get out of here. Do you have a favorite moment since you've come on the show? Like an interview or a moment or something that's happened on the show that you would say is your favorite? You can keep it super short. Doesn't have to be super elaborate. Well, my favorite. You look like you know. Do you want to go first?
Who? Me?
Maestro. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say. Okay, I'll be honest. This was kind of a quick transition. I want to go last. I want to explain why.
Okay.
So everybody else go first.
Yeah. I'll take care of it. I've actually got I got 3. I'll be real quick. Number 1 was the opportunity to where we had a chance to meet up with Jeff Manning, WCWC. We're going to be having him back on the program later on this summer. Again, doing a lot of great things in the world of professional wrestling. A very good.
Hey, maybe we'll see him in Vegas. Who knows?
Number 2, I got to say, is the night during the pandemic when we were actually able to interview 2 guests from 2 different countries. I think that was definitely one. We had one, I think he had to call us at 7 a.m. the next morning to be in.
That's right.
That was Mad Dog Doherty and
Australia, man.
Eric Richter. And last but certainly not least, I got to say tonight, because if you want to get technical, let's see here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 guests tonight, guys. 5.
Woo!
5, not 4 like we had in the past for big shows. We had 5.
Yep. Add Kenny Casanova to that list, baby. Rodell?
I'm going to say my favorite interview that I've done is with Donnie Dodge from the Nebraska Pro Wrestling Hall of Fame. Sure. Me and Maestro, I believe Maestro was on with me that night.
That was a great episode.
That interview just seemed like it flew by. It was like I'm looking up. I'm like, holy cow, we've gone like 45
Hopefully that
minutes.
goes from a traveling Hall of Fame to a real Hall of Fame someday, man. I think that would.
And I believe their ceremony is coming up soon.
Shout out to Donnie, Nebraska on fire. Maestro, I'll go ahead and go. You said you wanted to go last.
Yep, go last, so go
totally bearing, all the BS and putting it to the side. I have to say, and I love every single person that's a part of the show. My favorite moment of this year was adding Sonny to the show. He wasn't able to be here today. Sonny is not only my best friend, he's also my compadre. I'm godfather to a couple of his boys. And, he'd been a part of this show low key. Let's call that a silent investor in the show for a very, very long time. And he wasn't able to join me because of, the dude's got like 8 kids. He's like Antonio Cromartie, except the white version. Or Nick Cannon, except less talented and way more broke.
God.
He was giving me shit for not liking deathmatch wrestling, so I'm going to give him shit just back.
That makes
all right.
sense.
By the way, heat all day, baby. Sixers suck. But no, seriously, adding Sonny Mayo, obviously Jeremy. Shout out to CJ, bro. I know we haven't been able to get in touch with you here recently, but we still love you, bro. We will always love you. You're always going to be part of our family. I want you to know that, and I hope you know that is sincere. But with Sonny coming on, it was long overdue. Sonny took me to my first ever independent pro wrestling show, and if it wasn't because he just started his new job, making way more, good for him, God bless. Working overnights, he would have been here tonight, and he had a hell of a day, and he tried everything he could to be here. He couldn't. It broke his heart to not be able to be here tonight. So when he watches this whole thing through, like I know he will, I want him to hear this message at the very end to know that to me, nothing matters more than to be able to do things with the people that you love. And outside of my blood family, my wife, my mother, these people, there's nobody that's more La Familia to me that's not my blood than my compadre, the one and only Sonny Money Mayo. That's my favorite part of the last, let's say, 100 episodes of the Wrestle Talk podcast.
Where's Hoss at?
Hoss? Oh, he's got to be around here somewhere. Either that or he
Hoss,
get
your butt on here. You
There he goes.
let's just Hoss is like the super utility man of this. I mean, Hoss makes this thing go at times.
I was gonna say we'd be a complete cluster without Hoss.
No question, Hoss. You know what to do, baby. Pour it out for us. I know what the FWWC means to you. I know what the Wrestle Talk podcast means.
And you're on mute before you start talking.
Oh, he knows that. He's not as slow as we are. He knows to unmute himself. Well, at least not as slow as I am. Hoss, man, lay it out for us. What do you got?
You know, it's been a privilege to be a part of the Wrestle Talk podcast. I've really enjoyed being here, you know, and, you know, I'd have to say that one of my favorite episodes was, you know, when I was involved in interviewing the Lumberjacks. You know, they were two really great guys, and, you know, the interview just seemed to flow, and it was just like sitting down talking to old friends, and it was the first time I had met them. And, you know, since then they have, you know, they're always coming on in the comments. They're always hitting us up and asking, hey, can I send you this? Can I send you that? And we really appreciate it. And, you know, they're some really great guys.
And by the way, they make some of the best jelly that you've ever had in your entire life. I think Hoss just wants another free can of the jelly. No, I'm kidding. Obviously not. They're Hall of Famers.
What kind of jelly? What kind of jelly are we talking about?
Lumberjack Slam Jam.
Lumberjack Slam Jam, bottled and produced in the great state of Missouri. Oh gosh. Or is it Illinois? Correct me, Skywalker.
I believe it is. Well, some people say Missouri or Missouri. That's
right.
discussion.
But the Lumberjacks are based in Missouri, right? Not Illinois. I'm just trying to make sure.
Correct.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Great state of Missouri. So, Hoss. Well, I want to just say also, Hoss, thank you for everything you do, not just here on the FWWC, but also our sister show, which we sponsor every Thursday night. The FWWC Tonight, bro. It really would not happen without you. So, thank you, man. I mean that.
It's my pleasure to be there.
All right. And you know what, Maestro? I know how much you love doing this corny shit, so I'm going to go ahead and give you the platform. Bro, you're always so good at closing us out with some thoughts that kind of bring everything full circle, brother. You'll be the last word here tonight. Why don't you go ahead and do us the honors and have the final word?
All right, Hoss, I'm going to need you while you're back there to put up what we usually do every week to close the show. So before that, I got to put on my favorite moment. I've been a part of this show for, about 5 years now. I remember that because I was living at the old house when I first made an appearance back when Joe and Renee, and Joe, I've been thinking about you this whole show. I know you had other events going on tonight, but we love you, and the show won't be the same without you either. So definitely, it's hard because I've enjoyed so many interviews. I've had the pleasure of talking to so many people, but I will say 2 moments stick out to me. Number one is any moment that we have Herb Simmons on the show. Herb Simmons is literally a freaking human wrestling encyclopedia, and I could talk for hours with him on this show. We just have, obviously, a time limit, so we don't do that. But I've developed quite the friendship with him, as I have with all the guys that are involved with this show. But I'm going to be honest with you. The most important episode to me, and to me the most impactful, was the one that we titled Never Alone. And it was the episode that had occurred just days after Daphne, professional wrestler Daphne, had tragically committed suicide. And it meant a lot. We had all discussed this backstage before the show of if we were going to do this. And I felt, especially a guy like me who struggles with depression and anxiety constantly, for so long, that we needed to do this. And when the Night Owl, told me how many people felt impacted by it, it just melted my heart. And ever since then, and at the end of every show, I make it known that you are never alone out in the world. This is for anybody who ever listens and struggling. And the National Suicide Prevention Hotline is 1-800-273-8255. It's available 24/7, 365, 366 on leap years. Just know you're always loved. And it has been nothing short of a blessing to be part of the Wrestle Talk podcast all these years. And I look forward to seeing this show get even bigger and better as we reach to the 500 club. But we can't do it without all of you. So thank you all so much for tuning in to episode 400 of the Wrestle Talk podcast. And always remember, life is a book, full of empty pages just waiting to be written in. Make your lives worth reading. Good night and God bless everybody.